Hi, everybody. It is Thursday evening, and we are tracking a line of showers and storms coming in there from the west. It's what we talked about earlier on this evening, and we've already been tracking throughout the early stage of the evening hours. As we approach mid-evening, that line just now reaching the western parts of our viewing area, parts of Jackson, parts of Franklin County, just west of the plateau, starting to get that line coming in. The main risk of this is damage and wind gust. I think the tornado threat, which is even low, is to the south and west. And I'll show you that where that is, way farther south of Huntsville. We're going to be dealing with this line right here, and it's going to be a brief line that rolls by, but it's got within it some pretty strong wind gusts. And this is why you see the large area here that is under a severe thunderstorm warning. This particular warning out, this is Central Time, till 9:30 Central Time. And again, this is one of those situations where the gusts could reach as high as 60 miles an hour, rain, some lightning with it. There's not a whole lot, but it's mainly that first punch of wind as the main line comes on through, and then it just moves on by, and then the winds start dying down. So it's not a long duration system, but it's one that's going to sweep through between basically now, which is just before 9 o'clock Eastern, and then by midnight, it's going to be out of here. Okay. But while it's here, the wind gusts can be pretty nasty. So if you're in advance of the line, which is basically a large part of our viewing area, out in here with nothing happening yet, and the gusts starting to pick up, secure those outdoor Christmas decorations. Be sure they're tied down. If you need to deflate some of them, or bring them inside, you want to do that now before this line starts sweeping in, because it'll be a good, 10 to 30 minute time frame with some strong wind gusts coming through, which can knock some of that over, knock some limbs down, could even get some power outages around. And we'll see more of these warning boxes popping up. Those are severe thunderstorm warnings, because of the threat that these could provide some damaging wind gusts. That line is moving east about 35, so it's going to move fairly quickly west to east across our viewing area between now and midnight. So the next 3 hours, pretty active here locally. But again, only parts of Franklin and far western Jackson County out for the next half hour until 9:30 Eastern, 8:30 Central Time. Everybody else is mostly okay right now. Not a whole lot going on yet. And that'll be changing, though, as this line starts advancing to the east. Let me kind of zoom out a bit, and you can see that there are several warnings along the line here. This is for wind gusts up to 60. I believe these stronger ones that are darker, are up to 70 miles an hour. Those are a little bit farther south. So you notice there's a difference in color to the polygon. Where you got the red, this is your standard severe thunderstorm warning. And then this one is a little bit stronger, enhanced severe thunderstorm warning, where it's outlined in darker shaded red, indicating wind gust potential of 70 miles an hour with that. Now, it is moving into an area where there's a bit more stable air. Over us throughout the day, it's been raining. We've had a steady climb in temperatures, but not quite as much energy in what they had to the west. So hopefully that weakening trend continues, but there's enough acceleration in the atmosphere where a lot of this is going to just allow the winds to continue, at least briefly, right along this line as it makes its way off to the east. So primarily, it is a wind threat and heavy downpour threat as well as it moves its way to the east fairly rapidly. Let me show you around the region, and you can see farther south a couple of things. Notice how over us there's a line from Huntsville and right along the plateau to just west of Crossville. And down in here, this is where the storms are a little bit stronger. This is where also that tornado watch is in effect, but you also notice there's not many warnings there. Most of the warnings are in linear fashion with that line advancing west to east. So primarily it's a linear line of storms. One that's going to provide a strong wind gust potential with the heavy downpours of rain. The tornado threat for just some isolated tornadic storms, basically Birmingham and south, that's starting to die down, because once you get just east of I-65, which basically runs right here, farther east you go, it's a little less energetic, less energy to feed off of. And here's the leading edge of it. Again, approaching the plateau, there's the back edge here. So again, the worst weather is right on the leading edge and not so much in the back edge. Now, even though we're going to see strong wind gusts with that line, it's already windy out there. Yes, it is already. We had gusts this afternoon upwards around 20 miles an hour, and gusts are picking up in advance of the system moving in because it's a fairly fast mover. Let me show you the wind gusts over the past hour. You'll have wind gusts even away from these storms, so just be aware of that. So just over the past hour, Wind gusts up around 30 in Cleveland, close to 40 in Crossville. So 20 to 25, 20 to 30, very common, all coming in from the south. And there's the wind shift line right there as that line is coming in. And right along that line is where the wind gusts are a bit stronger. So again, that's how we look right now. Let's see, a couple of comments here. Judy says the wind is wicked in North Cleveland. Indeed it is. We just mentioned that. Cleveland wind gusts around 30. Let's see, Destiny watching. Thank you, Destiny, for your kind words. Hello, Kenny and Lafayette. Little Ronald in Cleveland. We'll get to the timing coming up momentarily with everybody. All right. Temperature-wise, temperatures have been climbing throughout the evening. We've actually had our high temperature just over the past hour, reaching close to 60. And it's going to stay pretty warm until we get this line passing by and the temperatures really drop. And I'll show you the regional temperatures coming out, because by morning, we're probably going to be about 25 degrees colder. Yeah, into the mid-30s by first thing in the morning. By that time, all the rain's gone. So it's warm and rainy, windy, and moves out, and then it gets cold. So not combined, no snow weather. There could be some flurries up towards Crossville, but that's just on that side. So there are the temperatures. There's the wind gust right now. So these are gusts outside of these storms. And there's the line that we're watching. Right about there. And again, this warning out for parts of Franklin County and Jackson County, which includes Suwannee, just west of the High Top area. Scottsboro, you're not under that warning yet. With time, between now and 10 o'clock Eastern, that will change. But again, that's for Franklin. And then down to Jackson County, same warning out until 9:30 Eastern, 8:30 Central Time. Wind gust potential uppers around 60 miles an hour, and it's moving east at about 35 to 40 miles an hour. So this could be a quick timeline on this. We're going to trace just the leading edge of that line. And there you have it. So over the next hour, it'll move by just around 9 Central, 10 Eastern. It will be into Grundy. It'll be into Marion and covering a larger part of Jackson County. So Scottsboro, rough estimate in the next hour, just before 9 Central. Suwannee, about 30 minutes away, a little over a half hour away. Winchester, about 8:23. And Huntsville, you can see there just in the next few minutes. And basically, what are we watching for? Watch for gust potential upwards of 60 and heavy downpours of rain. So it's pretty windy out there now. A lot of folks are commenting about that. Yes, but we're looking at stronger potential gusts with thunderstorms coming in. That'll make it a little bit stronger as that line pushes through. Could bring down some winds, power line issues, outdoor decorations. We're going to secure those, as you mentioned earlier. Let's give a quick look at the velocity scan in here and kind of give you an idea of the wind speeds. We'll go up here near Lynchburg. Computer's kind of lagging tonight. Well, kind of like right along that line, 35 to 55. So right along that very narrow line. These are winds aloft, 35 to 55 miles an hour. And then it kind of quickly drops off, but right along that line, that's when some of the winds are the strongest. So just below the severe threshold, at the, above us, but again, at some of the higher elevated areas, especially here where you're starting to go up the mountain there, a little upslope flow can make it a little bit stronger. And likewise on the other side, downsloping can make it a little bit stronger as well. But that line right there, from Lynchburg southward to around Bellevue, it's got those gusts quite frequently 35, 55. The reason why this severe thunderstorm warning is in effect includes Estill Springs, Suwannee, Huntland, all the way down to western Jackson County. That's out for the next half hour. But again, with time as it moves east, that will expand. Tornado threat with this is pretty low. This is more, it's kind of linear in fashion. So expect going to be strong wind gusts, you can't rule out a quick spin up. It's not a zero chance, but it's a very low chance right now.
Well, if you see, and I don't know what video they have, but there's video, it's not like zero.
And I'll advance this here. You can see this warning that was in effect on your Hartselle back. This is south of Hartselle. That is about to outpace that polygon. We're going to see that. Well, they just expanded that. They brought the wind speeds down into that red zone, which is 60 miles an hour instead of 70. So all of this is moving eastward about 35 to 40. So heads up again, eventually within the hour to DeKalb County, and during this hour across a larger part of Jackson County, and just almost on the edge of Franklin at the moment. But again, tornado threat is low at this time, but not exactly zero. So we mentioned, people are asking about timing. So I mentioned that it would be to about right here in the next hour. Okay. So you're looking at just before 11 p.m. in Cleveland, between 10:30 and 11 Eastern in Cleveland. So I've got a lot of people asking, what about Cleveland? Between 10:30 and 11, when that line will get there. Okay. Line advancing to the east about 35 to 40 miles an hour. So between 10:30 and 11, heads up. I would say around Chattanooga during the 10 to 11 time frame, before 11 o'clock. Right where we're doing the news. But we'll see on this live stream while we also do the newscast. This shows you the cold front. This first front is producing the showers and storms. The cold air is back here. So it's not much cooling yet, but you can see how all of this will move east. Then the cold air comes in. So it's not a snowmaking machine, although tomorrow is going to be a lot colder than it was today. Temperatures overnight, mid-30s. A few areas north can be below freezing by morning, which then many of you will ask the question, well, what about the roads? Well, the wind will do a lot to dry the roads. Always be aware of a patchy area at higher elevations where it didn't dry and there might be a puddle or two or a bridge or overpass that might have a little bit of freezing out. So just be aware of that tomorrow morning. But I don't look at that being widespread area-wide, but there's always going to be some slick spots. Gotta be mindful of that. But the very narrow line right there, that little ribbon of red, that's the line that's got the strongest gusts with it. The reason why we're tracking this very carefully. We got it scrolling on our TV screen. That's got the warning out there for Franklin and Jackson County, and eventually we'll include a few more counties as that line advances to the east. Farther down here, not seeing many warnings left at all as that activity is kind of dying down. And again, there's a little less energy over us. It's been a bit more stable, as I tend to say. And, hopefully that trend continues. Overall, the severe threat is, again, still at a low level 1, marginal risk. But notice how the farther east you go, east of I-75, that kind of diminishes a bit. Not saying there won't be any wind, but it's just that those levels of wind, or the degree of the strong wind gusts will kind of come down as we go through the night. Again, tornado threat extremely low with the system. We'll always be watchful for that, but primarily this is strong wind gusts and heavy rain. That includes everybody locally. Again, a lot of folks asking about their specific town and tornado chances. It's all about the same locally. Very low chance, but we're watching. Here's our latest future track, which again shows, I mentioned the 10 to 11 time frame. This shows again around 10:30, Dayton to Chattanooga to Fort Payne. So the Cleveland, 10:30 to 11, potentially, if this line continues on that same pace. Look how quickly it moves. By the time we get to just after midnight, it's far east of Jackson, Cherokee and Clay County, and moving away out of areas north and east. So this will not be something that lasts all night long. So just basically the next couple of hours, moving west to east, and then overnight it just cools down. By morning, temperatures in the 30s, a few spots plateau in the 20s, maybe some flurries up there. But otherwise, tomorrow, plenty of sunshine back and temperatures in the 40s. And this will be the coldest day tomorrow, the next 7, because we got a big warming trend over the weekend. And next week, still looks pretty warm. I think Christmas Eve. Temperatures will be in the mid-60s, could be pushing near 70 on Christmas Day. So we've had a cold first half of December. Now we're going to start warming up as the pattern flips, which tends to happen. Nothing unusual. And nothing unusual either to have thunderstorms in December. Here in the southeast, our southern latitude, you get thunderstorms any day of the calendar year. Not as frequent in December, but they do tend to happen. And we've had it happen on many occasions, so not that unusual at all. All right, one more time, we get that leading edge of storms just west of Cumberland County, over near Cookeville, and farther south, just west now of Grundy County, just entering the western part of Franklin, and the far western edge of Jackson County is still awaiting that line. Again, this severe thunderstorm warning out here for Franklin and Jackson out till 9:30 Eastern, 8:30 Central. Wind gust potential upwards of 60, and the line moving to the east at 35 to 40 miles an hour. And just show you some of the wind gust potential here. 50-mile-an-hour gusts right on that line, right where that line narrows a bit. Close to 50. Kind of drops off back behind the line rather quickly. So again, these are wind gusts aloft, but again, a lot of that can reach the surface, being brought down to the surface. Granted, those speeds are below the 58-mile-an-hour threshold for severe storms, but enough to bring down a tree limb, cause some power outages, knock over some Christmas decorations. So please be aware of that. Not much lightning with this. There's some back here north and east of Huntsville, over near Madison, north of Huntsville, at the Hazel Green. You see a little bit of lightning there, but look much less the farther north you go into Tennessee. But between now and 9:30, that should reach the western edge of Jackson and to the western edge of Franklin County. Farther south, again, not much way of warnings. You get south of Huntsville, you get towards Coleman, Aniata, farther south in North Metro Birmingham. You have showers, but not many warnings, not many advisories either. And that's a good thing. We hope it stays that way. But I do anticipate, if you're wondering, will your county go under a warning? It all depends. As all this makes its way farther east, I would imagine heads up Marion, heads up the remainder of Jackson County, heads up Grundy County, possibly. Either an advisory or a warning is very possible as these storms sweep on through. Sure, let's talk on. Yeah, let's turn it on. We haven't had to do many severe weather situations in the past 6 weeks or so. So I just want to make sure all the alert systems are turned on there, and they are. Again, many of you are saying that it's windy out there, and it sure is. For many of us, we have wind gusts currently 20 to 30, even higher. Here's just a look at the gust over the past hour. These will be updating as these come in. So just got an update. Cleveland at the jet port there, 35 miles an hour. Crossville close to 40. So these are the current gusts. So even without any storms, you got some pretty strong gusts out there. And then, of course, right back here is where the gusts get a little bit stronger with that line coming in. So we'll go from a southerly breeze to one coming in from the north and west. So we got one front coming with the storms, second front behind it that arrive overnight with the cold air. And just remind you tomorrow that it's still winter. That's how it goes. And again, just a quick look at temperatures. Again, they're pretty warm now, but they'll get a little bit colder as the night goes on. Let me show you the regional temperatures. You probably won't notice much of a change yet because that second front hasn't rolled past Memphis yet. But you can see there's quite a bit of a change. Notice where winds are coming in from the south. It's warm. This first front is just a little cooler behind it, just a little bit. Okay. So you go from near 60 to near 50. So it drops 10 degrees. And then back behind the second front, see See how that blue, you're dropping back to the 30s. And then we'll be in that blue by first thing in the morning. So the first front, a little cooler. Second front, much colder. Not like last weekend, though. But you can see the effects of that southerly wind really warming things up there. Here's our live radar view again. Let's do another quick timing update. Yes, that leading edge of the winds are the strongest. So South Pittsburgh in Marion County just after 10 o'clock Eastern. Scottsboro just before 9 Central. Swanee around 8:37. So between now and 10:15 Eastern, it'll be over. It's like near by 10:15 Eastern, 9:15 Central. It'll be near Dunlap. In a line from Dunlap to Jasper to South Pittsburgh, down about Bridgeport and Stevenson. So within the hour. So again, that means roughly it stays on that pace in Chattanooga around 10:30. Okay. Cassandra asked a very good question, asking about these warnings. These are severe thunderstorm warnings, not tornado warnings. These red outlines indicate wind gust potential upwards of 60 miles an hour, but again, these are severe thunderstorm warnings for these. You get a line like that, bowing segments on the line, so you can get some strong wind gusts, but that's what these are. They're not tornado warnings. If you look underneath the radar, all these counties in yellow, this is a tornado watch out till 10 o'clock Eastern. And the Storm Prediction Center has said they're not going to reissue a watch. So that's not going to follow farther east. We don't anticipate a watch being added to that. So that will expire with time, and then we'll just be dealing with individual advisories and warnings. Notice farther north you go, see these are concentrated right here. And of course, this just may be an opinion with different forecast offices. For example, Franklin, Jackson County, that's the jurisdiction of the National Weather Service, Huntsville. This line segment through here is from National Weather Service in Nashville. So they may just have differences of opinion. They may be thinking, these are not going to be severe. We're just going to let it go without any warnings. Huntsville may just see something different. Being more proactive, there's a lot of times you should be. You're dealing with strong wind gust and issuing warnings along this line. So we'll have to see what happens as you start getting into Morristown's jurisdiction and eventually Peachtree City, Atlanta, into Northwest Georgia. If they go with advisories or if they go with warnings. Either way, it doesn't change the situation. Along this line, very strong wind gusts are possible. Heavy downpours of rain. It won't last long, less than a half hour for the strongest wind gusts, even less than that for many spots. But this initial punch and then just rain. And then the winds subside, it just rains, and then that's it. Okay? But it's right on that leading edge of the winds are the strongest. In fact, let's do a comparison. We looked at the wind speeds in here. We're above the surface. They were running, 45, 55. So let's go north of this line. We'll pause it. Let's go here to Mendel, to Manchester. We'll take a peek in this line right here. You can see the difference in towards and away. It's amazing. The true line coming through. Yeah, right along this line, it's running about 30. Well, still 30 to 50, just above the surface. So all on that segment there, you got some strong gusts. So again, there's no warnings out over approaching Van Buren County and Warren County, Tennessee. But again, it's just a difference of opinion with forecast offices there. But either way, be aware for you folks in Spencer, Altamont, as that comes up from the backside of the mountain there, you got some strong gusts on the upslope coming your way. And that's primarily what that is. Very strong wind gusts and heavy wind-driven rain. We'll map this line for areas farther north. Track this for you. And there you go. This northern line, done that by 9:13.
Yeah. Is there anything you wanted to
about 10:15 Eastern. So just I'd say right before 10, right around or just after 10 Eastern, after 9 Central, because that'll be coming in from the west off the escarpment of the plateau there and into the Sequatchie Valley. Pipe fell about the same thing that was done about 10:15 Eastern, 9:13 Central. And you can see here, see this blinking polygon? This area over near Arab to Lacey Spring, just west of Albertville, that's been reduced to an advisory. So things are gradually weakening there south of this line. It went from enhanced severe thunderstorm warning, would have wind gust potential up to 70, now down to an advisory. And in this case, I think it's probably going to have wind gusts up to 50 maybe. That's going to be their advisory. Bingo. Yeah, gusts up to 50, moving east at 40. So it's below that severe threshold, but still enough to advise you it's going to get kind of windy out there. So again, we are seeing a lot of weakening and kind of breaking up farther south. The line is still strong, though. That's approaching us. So strong gust potential still there. We'll see, again, if usually in this case, the farther east it goes, you're going to gradually see a little bit gradual weakening, but still enough to cause some pretty strong gusts out there. And again, as we're mentioning, and it's all of you are telling me, yes, it's windy out there. Even away from any storms, it's already windy. Wind gusts 20 to 30 and higher. That's all in advance of this line coming in. As that line gets closer, it strengthens that southerly wind. So coming in from the south, those winds are quite strong. And I'll show you that coming up. So good questions here. Yes, Shannon, this is the only thing we're watching tonight. Once that line passes by, it's out of here. Okay? And we'll go from spring-like temperatures back to winter temperatures tomorrow morning and sunshine throughout the day. This is really the main weather event between now and after Christmas. Not a whole lot going on after that, after today. Get a break for a little while. So yes, it will not last all night long. I really think once we go to midnight just afterward, it'll be rapidly exiting our far eastern counties, and most of you can go into bed. Enjoy the rest of the night. Okay? But just be aware it'll be cold in the morning. Oh, let's see. Someone says the sound is low. Is that area why? Is it maybe just your speakers, or that's the first thing I've seen someone say they can't hear? Can everybody hear me okay? Just let me know. Jake saying can't hear, so I'll try and speak up a little bit. Hopefully that's just on your end. May not be, but could be on mine.
Mr. Sam Palace.
Yeah.
Can you please help me?
But it does appear that as it moves east, a couple of things I'm going to show you here. It may be a little stronger north of the state line with winds and a little bit less the farther south you go. Let's see if that trend still holds. All right.
Where's it at in your show?
One to raise up. Raise the roof.
And again, this warning out, for those of you wanting, this is severe thunderstorm warning out in western Jackson County and most of central and western Franklin County out till 9:30 Eastern, 8:30 Central Time. More than likely, this is going to expand over time, whether it's with a warning or advisory, because it is knocking on the door to Grundy County. You can see the leading edge right there approaching Grundy County. So again, parts northwestern Grundy, be aware coming off the backside of the mountain there. Upslope flow, a little bit strong there coming in. Then we've seen some gust potential on that line between 35 and 55 above the surface. So pretty windy out there.
It's after first weather.
So here are the gusts right now. See if they're changing in the past few minutes. Yeah, Cleveland keeps fluctuating a bit. 36 miles an hour. Gust near Crossville has not changed. Probably hasn't had an update yet, but still running right between 40, 25 to 40, right around 35 Cleveland. So these are all non-storm gusts. But again, advance that line, this will strengthen. These will get stronger. And once that line passes by, it'll be initially strong, and then these speeds will be a little bit less. So these will be strong, strongest along the line, and then not as strong back here with that wind shift. Let me go back to the temperatures here. Temperatures, again, not going to change much, at least until this line passes by. You can see the line right here. Pockets of blue indicate we're seeing more 40s showing up. So it'll initially drop about 10 degrees with the first front, and then the real cooling takes place with the second front later on tonight. And to show you again that the strongest storms are right along this leading edge. That behind it is general rain, not quite as strong. Okay, so the worst weather's right here. Once you get past that initial line, that initial punch of wind, that's it. As it moves away farther off to the east. And again, you can see we're going to have two fronts roll by tonight. This first front will provide that first line of storms. Once that clears, we'll drop about 10 degrees, dry out. And then lately overnight by morning, no rain with this one, but it's going to have more cold air behind it. So again, by morning, temperatures will be down to the 30s and highs tomorrow only in the 40s. So a chilly day coming up. Not nearly as cold as it was last weekend, but not nearly as warm as it was today either. All right. Thanks, everybody. Let me know the sound's okay. Good. Good to know. Thank you. Appreciate y'all. All right. Now we're seeing that line advancing into far western Jackson County, right along 72 from Gurley to about Princeton, and then right around Huntland to just west of Swanee. Winchester, you're right under all that heavy rain and strong gusts right along 64. And then just west of Altamont, you got leading edge of that line. So the winds are really picking up there in Altamont, Colmont, over to Palmer, and Tracy City. Even in Dunlap, in fact, they'll get more showers coming off the mountain there. But I would say Dunlap, right near the top of the hour, these stronger gusts are coming your way. Kind of some downsloping there into the valley. Van Buren County near Spencer, just west of you. It's still just to the west of Crossville by quite a bit. So I haven't entered Cumberland County yet. It's right over Cookville. And again, no advisories, no warnings there. So that's a good thing.
Thank you, Sam Kelly. I appreciate you and all the work you do.
Let's see.
Ladies and gentlemen, they got him. Well, he got himself. Ladies and gentlemen, he got him.
And we'll see if they advance that warning there out of Franklin County and Jackson County with time, if they'll continue the warning or into an advisory. Let's take a look again at some of the velocity scans here because it's approaching the Swanee area. So we'll do some detective work here with the velocity scan. We're taking a look at the winds inside the storm, just above the surface. And notice again how linear it is because you have a quick change of direction of wind. That's what that means. The red to green, quick change in direction. And the strongest gusts are right on that leading edge, right where the bright green and bright red is. So it's kind of like finding a needle in a haystack to find the strongest gusts. We'll take a peek at that. 32, 36. Put the Winchester here, about 30. So that's just above the surface there. It looks like they just extended that warning to all of Jackson, DeKalb County. So new warning here. Because of this line advancing, they pretty much, the National Weather Service Huntsville just basically blanketed all areas east of the state line with this new warning. So this is a new severe thunderstorm warning out for Jackson and DeKalb County out till 10:30 Eastern, 9:30 Central. And I'll read you the text of this warning real quickly here. I'll get the mic over for you. So again, this is a severe thunderstorm warning for most all of Jackson County and all of DeKalb County until you get to around Collinsville and south. You're out of that warning. But anyway, this is out till 10:30 Eastern, 9:30 Central. Wind gusts upwards of 60 miles an hour with the line of storms moving east at 50 miles an hour. Just a few areas to mention: Scottsboro, Fort Payne, Gunnersville, Rainsville, Bridgeport, Henniger. So again, damaging wind gusts, the main potential there as it moves to the east. And yeah, that is a new warning for DeKalb and Jackson County, and also in Franklin County, Tennessee. Now extended out till 10:30 Eastern, 9:30 Central. And with that line advancing east at 50, we'll give you another little timeline here. Oh, wrong thing. Sorry about that. There's that line facing that way. East at 50. I'll take it to about just east of the state line by 10:30 Eastern. So it shows Chattanooga around 10:24. We've been estimating 10:15, 10:30. There you go. Signal Mountain 10:17. South Pitt just before 10 Eastern, 9 Central. Scottsboro in the next 20 minutes. It's already near the county line and advancing eastward rapidly. Swanee in the next few minutes. So you're starting to get it now, but stronger wind. Over the next 10 minutes, your wind gusts will pick up in Swanee, where they are now. And I just saw the comments. Christy, I haven't forgotten you. Okay? I'm having to focus on this line. You're asking about Dalton. All right. So if we know this line, this is where it'll be in the next hour. So by 10:30, the line will be right here. Okay? So if we're moving east at 50, so the end of this line to Dalton is about 20 miles. So I would say by 11 o'clock. Between 10:30 and 11, reaching Dalton. And with what? Strong wind gust, heavy rain. Okay? Whether it'll be a warning, we'll have to see how this holds together. But I'd basically say between 10:30 and 11, closer to 11. That'd be closer to Dalton. Okay? I'm trying to, I know everyone's got individual towns, I get it, but we're having to hold and kind of watch where these areas are right now, and then we'll, with time, watch that. There we are, just west of Altamont there. Northwestern Grundy. Heavy rain from Viola to Altamont. Just to show you again some of the gusts in there. Switches direction pretty rapidly. To the south to the northwest, gust around 40 above the surface. Not too strong there. So still between 30, 40, kind of common along that line. Down here where these warnings are, let's check these. Yeah, he's a little stronger. He's a little stronger. Some pockets of 40, 50. These are still stronger here. So you got kind of a fluctuation there. These are all gusts above the surface, so they're reaching, getting close to that severe threshold. Well, let's see. Logan, I remember when you emailed me. I remember your name. you're about to graduate. Congratulations. That's awesome. Glad to see that.
I'm putting it in right now.
So you got to graduate high school?
That's why I say this.
Surely it's not been that long. You're not graduating college. Graduating high school, right? Because I remember your name. I remember answering the email questions. That's awesome, Beth. Congrats, man. There you go, high school. Yeah, I knew it hadn't been that long yet. Long enough, though, for you. See, 7 years to me, it just goes by in a blip. I know that y'all who are younger, 7 years seems like an eternity. Yeah, that's awesome, buddy. Congratulations, man. Now, here's a new warning out for Van Buren County. Here we go. That just issued by the National Weather Service in Nashville. Severe thunderstorm warning out now for Van Buren County, out till 9:15 Central. Storm is moving east at 55, gust potential up to 60. So that includes Warren County near McMinnville. I think it's just, no, it's right over McMinnville, to all of Van Buren County. That is out until 10:15 Eastern, 9:15 Central. So heads up in Bledsoe County, heads up in northwestern Sequatchie County, so the line comes on by. Again, all these warnings are just basically the same thing. Strong wind gusts, heavy rain. Very little in the way of tornadoes with something like this. I mean, you can't run a quick spin up in spots, but for the most part, this is a very linear type system and one that's going to provide strong wind gusts is your main concern. I know it can be kind of hard to pick out when you got heavy rain and you got the red and orange of that, these warnings, but there it is. There's that one warning there just issued. This was extended a few minutes ago. All of now Franklin, all of Jackson, and pretty much most of DeKalb County until you get to Collinsville south. But most of our viewing area there in northeast Alabama, remember that warning. That runs until about a half hour. Yeah, 10:30 Eastern, 9:30 Central. Roughly the next hour. And then that one over Van Buren out till 10:15 Eastern, 9:15 Central, roughly the next 40 minutes. All for the same reason. Again, the strongest gusts are right along the leading edge of this very narrow ribbon of showers and storms right there. And once you get back behind it, the winds rapidly die down. It's a shift in direction. They rapidly die down, and then you get just heavy downpours of rain. But let me just give an example for timing. If we know the line, I'm going to show you the leading edge of it. It's moving east at 45 to 50. We'll stay conservative at about 45. Okay. So this is where the line will be in an hour. Okay. So we can estimate by 10:35 Eastern, it's going to be right here. Okay. So from this point, over the next hour, okay, so by 11:30 Eastern, it's going to be right here, okay? By 11:30 Eastern, it'll be right here. And then after midnight, rapidly moving away. So this is the movement over the next hour, okay? Next hour, that arrow shows the hour that follows. So the next 2 hours, it'll progress 80, 90 miles. So it's going to move through the city, I would say 10:30, even slightly before that, and then be off to the east just after midnight. Okay, that's how quickly it's going to move. Mainly just some strong wind gusts, heavy rain, occasional lightning thunders. I mean, a whole lot of lightning with it. Some over Jackson County and back over Franklin County, but not as much farther north you go, but expect that. It's going to be some of that. And again, as far as wind gusts, they're pretty strong out there. Even away from any storms yet. We got strong gusts, several spots above 30. It's not even storming. You got a gust up to 40 here, above 30 in Pikeville, 36 Cleveland, close to 30 in Athens, over 25 Chatsworth, close to 30 Scottsboro. Scottsboro right along with that wind shift line is right there. So again, the strongest are going to be from the south, Coming in this direction. And then the potential for the absolute brief period of strongest gusts will be right along this line. Okay, then you get a wind shift, and they'll gradually ease back. Okay, that punch of wind will be pretty strong for a minute. So it's going to shake loose a lot of tree limbs. We don't have the foliage in the trees, so the wind passes through the trees a bit easier when there's not much foliage in the tree. But again, could cause some limbs to fall, could have some power outages locally. It's very possible. And by all means, as I mentioned this several times, secure your holiday decorations. Now, when you step outside, and just make sure those are secure, guys. Some of this is going to get blown around. All right. And just to go over the warnings that we have, we'll start to the north. And this is for Warren and Van Buren County out until 10:15 Eastern, 9:15 Central. Severe thunderstorm warning out there. Wind gusts upwards of 60 miles an hour. It is moving east at 55 miles an hour, very rapid pace. Same thing here. And I got that line spreading right over Altamont, down to about Suwannee, Monte Eagle here. So slicing right through Franklin County all the way down into the high top radar spot. But this part of Grundy, not under warning, but just north and south of you, they are. It's the same line, too. So heads up, stay inside, let the storm pass by. Be aware of some strong wind gusts. But this warning out for Franklin County out until 9:30 Central, 10:30 Eastern. I think it's going to be well out of the county way before that expiration time, way before it, okay? But when you're dealing with responsibility, Franklin County is the National Weather Service and Huntsville's responsibility. Marion is governed by the National Weather Service in Morristown. They issued a warning there. So we know it's going to clear Franklin way before 10:30 Eastern. But it'll probably take most of the next hour for this line to go all the way to the Georgia state line, with Jackson, DeKalb, lining up with Dade. And it's all again because of this very narrow line right here. It's just west of Scottsboro now. You got heavy rain west of you, or excuse me, south of you. In my direction, right? And then that line coming in from the west. So what's our timer there? 9:40. All right. We have our Fox Chattanooga newscast coming up at 10 o'clock, but we're going to stay on this live stream. You'll hear us broadcast. I'll just do my normal broadcasting, and we'll break away and keep talking here, but you won't have to, step off this live stream and watch something else. You can just, stay on the stream. You see the blinking polygon here? This is the difference between one forecast office to the other forecast office. So again, as we start seeing the trade-off here from the National Weather Service in Huntsville and Nashville to the National Weather Service Morristown, Morristown's already put out this blanket area, which includes western Hamilton, all of Marion, all of Sequatchie, all of Bledsoe, pretty much all of Ray on this special weather statement. What does it mean? It means exactly what this line's coming in showing. Strong wind gust, heavy downpours of rain. They are showing the gust potential between 55 miles an hour. Again, 58 miles an hour is the threshold for severe. So they're having it just below that level. So worthy enough of a special statement, but treat it as if it would any other advisory. That's a lot of strong wind gusts. If you have a tree near your house you're not sure about, got some loose limbs on it or one that leans through the house, just kind of stay away from there. Until the storm passes by, stay in a safe place. But again, that does include Hamilton County. So between now and 10:30, we'll have that line of storms right through downtown, which means between 10:30 and 11, you're Cleveland. So we're still on that timing there. So it moves east fairly rapidly. But again, it's the same threat level area-wide. Strong wind gust that could exceed 50 to 55. We have the warnings close to 60, and very heavy downpours of rain. A little bit of lightning thunder as well. There's not been much hail with this. Not much at all. Not much hail at all. All right, let's take a look at some of these gusts. We will start in Grundy County. pull up the velocity scan at Altamont. Oh yeah, that just passed right through Altamont there. That's got some. That's estimate above the surface right there, about 80. A little bit of sometimes you get those little kinks in the line. A little bit of circulation could happen there. Same time, that upslope flow going up the mountain there sometimes can cause some accelerated wind speeds. So that's just above the surface there. Very strong gusts. Right, yeah, between 50 and 80, rather abrupt. So that's pretty strong right there. Let's watch that loop right there. Boy, look right here. Be back it up just a second. Yeah, right there. A little bit of a. Interested to see if there's any tree damage through there near Altamont. Where I'm looking right in here. Right in there. Not quite as strong of a signature there, but boy, just for a brief second there, that was around 9:38, about 5 minutes ago. Pretty strong gust there, and it moves northeast, so it's kind of going this way. So there might be a little circulation right above the surface, right along that line there. We'll keep an eye on that. You can see it right there. Came right through Colmont to Altamont. Right on top of the mountain there. Let's keep an eye on that. Right in there. So you see, when you just look at it from a reflectivity, which is rainfall point of view, you don't see much. But you put those eyeballs in there with the velocity scan, it shows a completely different picture sometimes. Pretty strong. All right, let's come down the line there with that velocity scan. Let's come here near Pelham to Tracy City. Go just a little bit, and you can again see these gusts aren't quite as strong. The colors aren't quite as bright, but you're still looking at gusts 20 to 30 above the surface. The strongest seem to be right there in Colmont and Altamont. We'll keep an eye on that. Heads up in Sequatchie County. We'll keep an eye on that area right in there as that's moving northeast. Let's move down this line just a bit. So down near Swanee into all the Franklin County right here. And you can see the abrupt change in direction right here. When you see the brighter colors, it's going to be a little bit stronger, like your Sherwood. These aren't quite as strong as that other part of the line, but still. Yeah, not as strong there. Hope it stays that way. And this line's kind of breaking up a little bit through Jackson County. Again, we're looking at this is reflectivity of the rain. And the scope's going to show us a velocity scan. Ignore the purple. That's just the radius of the radar. Doesn't mean anything. Just means the radius of the radar is right there with high top. Excuse me, that's the outer radius of the Nashville radar. We're close to high top. And again, pushing Scottsboro, these guys aren't quite as bad. 35 to 45, still below severe levels, but enough worthy of an advisory. Be aware of these gusts. Let's go back to Grundy County for a second. Let's take a look back in there again. Yeah, you can see that was. There it is, right between Altamont, Colmont. Ooh. It's going to head on into the far northwestern corner there of Sequatchie County. That's a wicked wind coming through there, so just be aware of that. Heads up. And again, this new advisory, these county shaded in beige, it's a special weather statement because of this line coming in. As this line approaches right here, all these counties all the way to the city between now and 10:30, as this line advances west to east, wind gusts of 50 to 55 are very possible. You expect on the ridge tops, mountaintops, wind speeds are going to be a little bit stronger. Okay. All right, I've got another advisory. Someone said they can't hear me. Everybody hear me okay? I had that earlier, then everyone said they can hear me fine. Just make sure. Just checking. Just give me a couple of thumbs up or whatever, so make sure you can hear me. Now, all these areas out in here, even though it's not storming yet, these wind gusts are really strong out here. I'll show you the gusts in a second. Out in here, it's all no rain, or just some spritzels of rain, but it's very windy. All right. Let's take a look at some of those gusts. There you go. So that line of storms is right here. So in advance of it, it's already pumping in that south wind, 36 in Cleveland, close to 30 in Athens, near 40 Crossville. Many other spots above 20 to 25. So it's already windy, even though you don't have any storms yet. Good. That I can hear. Good. So if you can't hear me, just check your computer first. And every now and then, my microphone can be weird. Okay, and just make sure your computer is turned up so you can hear. Okay. But thank y'all for the thumbs up. Let me know. Appreciate you. And there's a line just about approaching the Van Buren-Bledsoe County line. It is moving right through Grundy County now. No warning in Grundy County, even though we saw those strong wind gusts right there between Altamont and Colmont. And just now near Mont Eagle, sure slow traffic right there on 24, and now entering Marion County. So again, no warning in Marion. There's an advisory here, but we'll see if Morristown changes their mind and changes that. So I'm reading some comments here. Angel says the wind blew so hard a minute ago, thought the house was going to blow down. Hey, where are you there, Angel? We got gusts all over the place, but what location are you? And again, the winds will be quite abrupt. When you get that very narrow line, that narrow ribbon of storms move in, it's going to be just all of a sudden real loud, strong wind gusts, and then it'll just kind of diminish with time. Thank you, Angel. Georgetown. Yep. You got the same gusts we have here. I'm just southwest of you. We're over near the Harrison area. Harrison, Chickamauga Dam area. So we're getting the same gusts out there right now. But yeah. Especially if you got the houses facing south, you're catching every bit of that wind. There again is what we're watching. The worst part of the weather is right here on the leading edge. You get back through, once you get past all that wind, it is all just rain. And it'll be raining. I mentioned the worst weather we gone just after midnight. At least that'd be the wind. It'll still be raining even after midnight, but not all night long. It'll taper off really quickly. We've got two fronts coming in. First front is bringing the rain. It's a little cooler behind it, not much, about 10 degrees. Behind this front, it's much cooler. Excuse me. Excuse me. I can feel that sneeze coming off in 30 minutes. I was trying to block it. Anyway, thank you. This is where it gets much colder right behind that, down to the 30s overnight. But it's this front here producing the storms, and it gets colder behind it. And there's our overall severe threat. It has not changed. Still that level 1 severe threat in the evening. And again, ending overnight. Thank y'all for the bless you. I appreciate it. Y'all are awesome. And there's the loop again. Western Hamilton, all of Marion, all of Sequatchie, all of Bledsoe, most of Ray. This is a special weather statement for the same reason all those warnings were out till 10:30, meaning wind gusts 50 to 55 possible along this line as it moves off to the east, roughly at 55 miles an hour. So if you got to imagine, if the winds aloft are pushing that along at 55 miles an hour, I mean, it's the speed of a car down the interstate. And you know the winds aloft are pretty strong too. And sometimes they can reach the surface. Again, rain, not much lightning, thunder there in Spencer. So Fall Creek Falls coming your way the next between now and the top of the hour. And just almost on the Grundy-Sequatchie border. Heavy downpours there. Tracy City is huge downpours there. Let me check the velocity there just for a second. We've had some strong gusts roll through there, at least right through Altamont to Colmont. That's moved away. It's still pretty windy, so some good wind-driven rain coming down there in Tracy City. That moved right over, that way station there on 24. All the trucks having to stop there. And just on the border of Franklin and Marion, moving right through Jackson County. What do we got here? Here we go. That's tornado warning out for DeKalb and Jackson County. Let me read you the text of this. We're going to have to go on have our on-air audience join us with that as well. Tornado warning out now for central Jackson County and northeastern DeKalb County until 10:15 Eastern, 9:15 Central. Severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado and straight line wind damage right over Scottsboro, moving east at 45. Again, this is a Doppler radar indicated rotation. That's a tornado warning out now for that part of DeKalb and Jackson County, which includes Henniger, Hollywood, Ider, Scottsboro. I'll leave that on the screen. I'm going to have our on-air audience join us as well. Hey, Evan, we got to get on the air right now on both. We got a tornado warning out for DeKalb and Jackson. So I already have a high feed in my thoughts. Just let them know on here. Once that wind is over, we're going to do the box. Yeah, I'll be here streaming this. I'm already streaming live as it is anyway. So we're going to be joining our online audience anyway within 10 minutes. We're going to join it right now because there's this tornado warning. So you're going to hear us, change the pitch here just a little bit. But no need to change from this live stream. We'll continue on the live stream. And if you want to, you can watch on air on Fox Chattanooga and News Channel 9 as we join those. Because when we have a tornado warning, even if Doppler radar indicated, you got to make sure everybody's updated on every platform, whether it's streaming as you're seeing right now, or sometimes when it's on air. Okay. Now again, I don't want anyone else alarmed here. Many of the areas it is windy right now, but the only area under the tornado warning is this part of DeKalb and Jackson County. Okay, that's out until 9:15 Central, 10:15 Eastern. Everybody else, primarily, it is a special weather statement. Let's go ahead and take a look at this storm here, and you can see. This is the polygon for the tornado warning that's out now. So Scottsboro, Pisgah, and Henniger, all these areas included into that. Let me pull up the velocity scan here. Again, this warning is out for potential for some rotation there and also the chance for some damaging straight line winds, which can oftentimes mimic a tornado. We're seeing a little bit of that from Scottsboro to just northeast of there along 72, a little bit of broad circulation right in there. But at the same time, I pull this off here, you can see there's going to be some potential for straight line wind gusts here from Scottsboro to Pisgah all the way to Ider. So that's why that warning is in effect right there. So all this area is already under severe thunderstorm warning, but this bounded polygon right here from Valley Head to Henniger, Ider, Pisgah, Scottsboro, all under that tornado warning. It's a Doppler radar indicated tornado warning out till 10:15 Eastern. That's 9:15 Central Time. Yeah, it's tornado warning there. Let me go back to the other graphic, which will isolate that for us.
What? Fanny room?
And there we have it right there.
There
There we go. And there we go. There's that warning out now for DeKalb, Jackson, out to 10:15 Eastern, 9:15 Central. So we're going to be joining the on-air audience in just a few minutes, or actually at any moment now. So I have to make sure everybody's updated. That's fine. Let's get the other radar up here too. Pull up the velocity scan. You can see as you move now just east of Scottsboro, this strong line of storms right here. A little burst of stronger gusts right there between Scottsboro and Pisgah. That's where that warning is occurring. We're going to be joining our on-air audience as well, so let me stand by here just for a second. We're going to be continuing our Fox Channel Media newscast as well. So thanks everybody for watching and for your patience here. We're isolating our coverage just to this tornado warning. Again, this is the only warning out for the viewing area at the moment. I sure can. I can hear you. Okay, I can hear you. Hi everyone, meteorologist David Glenn here. We are live on air and streaming on air as well. We have a tornado warning out now for this area from Scottsboro to Ider to Henniker to Valley Head. This is a Doppler radar indicated tornado warning. It's a very unique one because it's one that's for the threat potentially of rotation along this line, but at the same time, it could have just straight line wind damage as well that could well exceed severe levels with strong wind gusts. And this is the reason why the National Weather Service in Huntsville issued this warning, which includes Hollywood, Ider, Scottsboro, and Henniker out till 10:15 Eastern and 9:15 Central Time. So again, this is the only area locally under that type of warning. There are other severe thunderstorm warnings out, which I'll show you momentarily. But we want to keep it isolated here to this warning because of that threat level. We're looking at a velocity scan. This radar looks a little bit different what you're typically seeing, but from red to green, we're seeing right along this line. This is right where the strong line of storms rolls on by. And if I just back this up just a little bit, as this moves through Scottsboro, there's just a little bit of rotation showing up there and then rapidly moves to the east. And the strongest wind gusts seem to be right in here with that line between Scottsboro over to Pisgah, right in the heart of this polygon. So again, this is moving eastward at about 45 miles an hour. And basically, we're looking, if we just zoom in just a little bit more, this is where some of the strongest gusts could be. Some of these gusts above the surface, just to give you a rough estimate here. That's out. Let me get the velocity scan there. That tornado warning out to 9:15, of course. We're looking right in there where the potential could be some circulation right in there. So that's between Hollywood to Pisgah to Scottsboro. A little bit of rotation showing up there, but at the very least, very strong straight line winds along with this. So you could have some gust potential, again, 50 to 60 very easily. And look how this is lined up. It lines up straight north and south, some kinks along that line. And sometimes you can get some quick spin ups. And that's the reason why the National Weather Service in Huntsville issued that warning. If we loop this again, you can again see just how quickly this is moving off to the east. I'll do you a quick tracker here for you momentarily. You see the bright red shading on there indicates where some of the stronger wind gusts are with that. But the movement is off to the east at around 55 miles an hour. That's a fairly rapid pace. That's going to give us move out of this area. Let me expand this a little bit more, because there's a large area locally that's under severe thunderstorm warning, not under the tornado warning. This is the only tornado warning out locally. If we expand this eastward, moving east at 55, you can see how it's going to be going into portions of Dade and Walker County. Not saying going to be tornadic, but at the very least have some strong wind gusts between now and just after 10:30 Eastern time. Toward Lafayette, toward Mentone, around 9:26 Central, which of course is 10:26 Eastern time. So that gives you really a rough idea. Again, the only tornado warning out at the moment locally is this one here that straddles parts of Jackson, parts of DeKalb County. This is the area that we're watching right here for potential for some rotation along that line. At the very least, some very strong wind gusts along that line as well. The reason why this warning was issued. Again, this is going to be out until 9:15 Eastern, 10:15 Eastern, 9:15 Central. The blinking indicates, if I had just an update on that, so let me give you a brief update here. Just a few moments ago, severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located near Pisgah, about 7 miles east of Scottsboro, moving east at 45. Again, this is a Doppler radar indicated tornado rotation. It'll be near Henniger and Pisgah at this right now, and near Eider by 9:10. Other areas where the storm could roll by and at least cause some potential for strong wind gusts include Dutton, Rosalie, and Hammondville. So again, that tornado warning continues for this part of central Jackson County, northeastern DeKalb County until 9:15 Central, 10:15 Eastern, roughly the next 13 minutes as it rapidly moves to the east at around 45 miles an hour. I'm going to move from this storm for a second to show you the other storms going on across the viewing area. There are other warnings ongoing. So let's expand the view just a bit. Again, you can see several advisories and several warnings. We had one warning for Van Buren County, which is expired. A severe thunderstorm warning on underneath that area where the tornado warning is for all of Jackson, mainly east of Scottsboro, and mostly all of DeKalb County until you get to Collinsville and south. The farther north you go, there is an advisory out. This is a special weather statement for this same line of storms moving eastward over portions of Marion, portions of Hamilton, parts of Sequatchie, Ray, and Bledsoe out till 10:30 Eastern, 9:30 Central Time. These are trending just below severe levels, but still be mindful this could cause wind gusts of 50 to 55 miles an hour in this area outlined, and that is also moving east at around 55 miles an hour. So all areas locally with this very narrow ribbon of storms coming in has the potential of very strong wind gusts all along this line, okay? From South Pittsburgh to Jasper to Whitwell to just west of Dunlap, up to Pikeville, up to Fall Creek Falls, and now just west of Crossville. All of this has the potential of some very strong wind gusts. But right when you drop down to the south, in this part of Jackson County, there's been just enough of a rotation. The reason why the National Weather Service in Huntsville went ahead and issued that part of the line under a tornado warning out for roughly the next 11 minutes, which will include this area from Scottsboro over around Eider. So it's covering that far eastern part of Jackson County, now west of Scottsboro, and about to cross the county line toward the Eider area. Farther south along this line, just west of Fort Payne, other parts of Sand Mountain, you're under this severe thunderstorm warning here, which will go a little bit longer until 9:30 Central, 10:30 Eastern Time. So if we just isolate this and go back to the main tornado warning, this is the area that we're watching very carefully. I'm looking at the velocity scan back up here. You look at the rainfall. Now this is the velocity, which gives us a better idea of the wind inside the storm. And you can see last estimate from the National Weather Service was near Pisgah. And you can see right on this line, I'm going to pause it here. Most of this is all straight line winds. You get in here, though, some kinks along that line, you can get some brief rotation. And this is the reason why that tornado warning was issued there. In fact, the National Weather Service indicated on their last advisory just moments ago that the tornadic rotation was very close to Pisgah, or about 7 miles east of Scottsboro. Zoom in a little bit more. This is the area that we're watching right in here. Your Rosalie to Pisgah to Morris Mill. Anytime you got a little bit of rotation there indicated there, the wind's going to be just a little bit stronger along that line. That's where it could be, just west of Alabama Highway 71 near Pisgah over around Rosalie. So also heads up at Eider to Henniger to Hammondville. It seems to be to the south of Morris Mill. This seems to be more straight line wind oriented. But either way, from Dutton to Bowman Crossroads or Brooks Crossroads, still these straight line wind gusts could easily top out around 50, 55. But again, a little bit of rotation possible there. I mean, this is I call this a proactive tornado warning because it's indicated rotation indicated. The reason why that warning was issued. Again, it's out roughly for about the next 9 minutes. That is the only tornado warning at the moment locally. The other warnings locally are primarily that of severe thunderstorm and special weather statements. So it's not widespread area-wide. But anytime you got these lines of storms rolling on by, you can get quick spin-ups along that line, and the reason why this warning is in effect. We'll have to see as it moves farther east beyond 10:30, will it stay a tornado warning or will it be a severe thunderstorm warning over Dade and Walker? It all depends on the rotation that we see here. If it just goes back to more straight line or if that rotation indication remains in place there. But again, across the region, we have several other warnings ongoing. Severe thunderstorm warning out for Jackson and DeKalb County from Fort Payne south to about Collinsville. And all this area up to Crossville, all this in beige, which includes Hamilton County, This is a special weather statement indicative of the fact that these storms could have strong wind gusts upwards of around 50 miles an hour between now and 10:30. That line of storms will be moving on through. So I would say around downtown between now and 10:30. And that would mean for areas like Cleveland, Athens, along the I-75 corridor, closer to around 11 o'clock as that line of storms reaches you. Just to give you a little bit of an idea here of strong wind gust potential, and we'll go back to that tornado warning momentarily. But some of the wind gusts here, if we just look at the velocity scan, for example, near Whitwell, and just to show you, again, some of the velocity scans here showing wind gusts of 25, wind gusts to, they're not quite as strong there. Not quite as strong above the surface. So we've seen these speeds come down just a bit. This is the reason why these are not under warnings. And that's a good thing. But you get in here where this area is, right near Pisgah, right where that warning is. And some of these gusts in here have been a little bit stronger. Gust potential upwards to 40, close to 50. So very strong wind gusts, even if there is not a tornado with that. Very strong winds with that as it makes its way on through. So that warning there, that red polygon, Valley Head, Ider, Pisgah, and now mainly east of Scottsboro and just north of Section. That's where that tornado warning is in effect. Doppler radar indicated tornado warning for roughly about the next 7 minutes in that part of Jackson and DeKalb County. Elsewhere, again, there's a large area of a severe thunderstorm warning, which basically surrounds that tornado warning for this very same line that stretches from South Pittsburgh to Bridgeport all the way down to near Albertville. So it's going to be right along the Jackson-DeKalb County border. So over the next hour, Fort Payne, Henniger, up to Ider, up to Mentone, and including out to Bridgeport. Very strong wind gusts along this line, very heavy rain, occasionally some lightning, especially right here in the far northeastern corner there, Jackson. You're probably seeing that on Sand Mountain, some of that carrying over into Dade County, into Georgia. So you're getting some strong gusts there just near Trenton, but at the moment, not under a warning. That part of Dade and northern Walker is under a special weather statement out to 10:45. That issued a few moments ago by the National Weather Service in Peachtree City. Again, not a warning, but again, like we're seeing in Hamilton County, an advisory. And again, for wind gusts potential upwards around 50 miles an hour. Movement is off to the east, also at 50. So strong winds aloft. And it's windy in areas already, even where you're not getting any storm activity. It is windy already as the strong southerly winds pick up. But again, the main tornado warning is for this storm right here that's moving through, about to approach the border of Jackson-DeKalb County. A little bit of rotation noted there just west of Henniger that rolled through Pisgah. Again, this is a Doppler radar indicated tornado warning. So again, seek shelter in these areas, stay put until this warning is canceled. We'll give you all clear on that. But at the very least, it's a very long line. So you're going to see some strong wind gusts worthy of causing some property damage and some tree damage and cause power outages. Right along this right here, that was right near Highway 71, I believe. That's where you got the potential of a little bit more stronger gust, chance for some tornadic rotation. So heads up in Henniger as that draws closer to you. This warning, again, remains in effect for roughly the next 5 minutes. It might get expanded. We'll have to wait and see on that and see what the National Weather Service in Huntsville goes with over the next few minutes. But again, that's out until 9:15 Central, 10:15 Eastern. That is the only tornado warning over the viewing area at the moment. But we're going to have to watch that because that whole line is going to be approaching southern parts of Dade, southern Walker, to Chattooga County between now and just before 11 o'clock. Again, elsewhere, there are other numerous warnings going on, other advisories out east of Crossville. Again, this is one long special weather statement, which goes all the way from Trenton to Chattanooga to Dunlap to Pikeville, all for wind gust potential of 50 to 55 with this line of storms coming on by. And I'll show you a tracker coming up. This other warning that outlines or embeds that area where that tornado warning is, that's out till 10:30 Eastern, 9:30 Central. And that warning here roughly for the next 4 minutes. We'll see if they expand that with time. Here's a quick timeline here. This is moving east at about 45 miles an hour. There we go. So this is just a brief timeline here near Long Island. Notice Central Time to Eastern Time. So Long Island, Fort Payne between 9:15, 9:30, roughly right along the 59 corridor. Lafayette around 10:46. That's roughly about the next half hour, coming up over Lookout Mountain and toward Pigeon Mountain in Lafayette. Toward East Brainerd just before 11 o'clock. So it'll be crossing through downtown between 10:30 and 11, bringing with it the potential of strong wind gusts, very heavy rain, and quite a bit of lightning as it moves its way off to the east. Again, this red that I'm outlining here is a tracker, not a warning. Okay, this is where this is just tracking that line where it's going to go. Let's go north along that line, where areas are already seeing it from Pikeville to Dunlap to near Whitwell and Jasper. If we track this line, likewise moving east at around 45, be as far east as Cleveland by just before 11 o'clock. Chattanooga around 10:30. These are all Eastern time except for Pikeville, which is moving by right now. Cleveland around 10:56. East Ridge 10:38. Chattanooga 10:33. Ocoee around 11:10. Again, this red box just outlining the tracking of where that storm, that line of storm stretching from Pikeville to Jasper and Whitwell, will be moving eastward with time. Okay? So again, this tornado warning that's right here in this part of Jackson, DeKalb County expires in the next 2 minutes. We'll see if they continue that in the next 2 minutes. We'll just isolate that and show where that warning is. That line is right here just west of Ider, right along the county line with Henniger right here. And there's been a little bit of rotation kind of persistent there. That's right near Henniger now. That prompted that tornado warning. It's a Doppler radar indicated warning. It went right through the Pisgah area to near Henniger. There's that very, it's not really a straight line. It's kind of a bowing line just a little bit there, right along the county line, right along Alabama Highway 40 and crossing Highway 71 in that tornado warning. So again, this is a Doppler radar indicated tornado warning. We again are streaming on our social media services on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, or X, I should say. We're also on air on Fox Chattanooga and News Channel 9. This is our normal broadcast with the Fox Chattanooga newscast, which will rejoin momentarily as long as this warning is in effect, and then rejoin regular programming. We'll have to see if this warning is extended or if it does expire. But either way, be aware that when you see this red to green, this is a sharp wind shift and very abrupt wind shift with that. It's going to cause wind gusts upwards of 50, 55 miles an hour, even without a tornado warning. Okay, that warning has now expired in that area, right along the county line with Jackson and DeKalb. We'll hold momentarily to see if they reissue a warning there. Nevertheless, that area is still under a severe thunderstorm warning, which you see right here. So the tornado warning has expired for the moment. We'll hold on the broadcast here for a second just to make sure. I'd hate to take you back to programming and only jump back in. But again, this whole area remains under a severe thunderstorm warning until 10:30 Eastern, 9:30 Central, because of the gust potential of, again, 50, 55. Again, we have seen a little bit of rotation here and there. It is approaching the Georgia state line. It is at the state line now, right on that apex on the Georgia, Tennessee, Alabama border. And it'll be approaching more into Dade County, eventually southern Walker, and Chattooga County between now and the top of the hour, 11 o'clock. And bringing with it, right on that main line, that narrow ribbon there, that's where the winds are the strongest. The event behind it is primarily rain. This is not something that'll last all night long. No, this line is moving very rapidly. So I would say just after midnight, all of this is rapidly moving east outside the viewing area and not lasting all night long. Let me also show you the wind gust, because even outside thunderstorms, those winds are howling out there. A lot of folks are telling me that on social media. I appreciate those of you giving me those reports. But you can see right now, the main line of storms is right here. Notice an abrupt wind shift. You got very strong winds coming in from the south. These gusts are around 32 in Cleveland, 31 Athens, 32 in Pikeville. And then there's an abrupt wind shift here, right behind that line of storms. So they're at their strongest in advance of that line, strongest along the line, and then not quite as strong as winds shift to the north and west. So we're going to get our strongest winds now as this line passes by, and then a little bit lower with wind speeds the rest of the night. But again, you can see, even aside from any storms, wind gusts are howling out there, 30, 35, and stronger in many spots. So again, that tornado warning has expired there. We'll get rid of that graphic there. So what we're going to do now is we're going to allow folks on News Channel 9 to go back to regular programming. We'll rejoin if any other tornado warnings are going to be are reissued. But bear in mind, on News Channel 9, please rejoin us at 11 o'clock for an update on the radar, or you can join us as we're streaming now on the News Channel 9 YouTube page, my YouTube page, meteorologist David Glenn, and also on our Facebook page as well. And we'll continue with our Fox Chattanooga newscast right now. But for now, we'll let our News Channel 9 audience go back to network programming, and we'll see you again on News Channel 9 at 11 unless any other warnings are issued.
We have a state file with our engineer trying to put that
Okay.
Right, there's kind of failure with programming.
All right, folks, we're still here. They've started the Fox Chattanooga newscast, and we'll be joining them like we just did for this. But I like doing it this way because we can continue our live stream at the same time provide the on-air coverage. So it allows us to cover all of our platforms. I don't have to move. I don't have to jump around. We can stay right here and keep you updated. So I appreciate everybody for being patient, watching this broadcast, staying here online, and we'll get you through this as it moves on through. And I'll have to join this broadcast right now. If you happen to be having your TV on Fox Chattanooga, you'll be seeing both coming up momentarily. Again, we've got that line of storms moving through Jasper, Whitwell, but guess what here, folks? You folks in Mont Eagle, it's over. Tracy City, done. That wind is done. Whitwell, you're on the backside of it now. That's how fast this is moving. South Pittsburgh, strongest wind is almost moving out. Scottsboro, it's raining. The worst of it's now moved past you. But for Ider, Trenton, West Side, Lookout Valley, Chattanooga, Rossville, Fort Oglethorpe, stay where you are, okay? Because let's just stay where you are, safe place, let these winds pass on by. Okay. Producer talk to my ear. Yeah, I heard you. Got two conversations going on at once. Got two conversations going on. I'm trying to read this and a producer talking to me in my ear. It's got live television, folks. Anyway. Okay. You can see that line of storms basically there, east of Crossville. Guys, I've got studio mic on. I'm talking to the production. And you're watching the live TV aspect. We're going to be rejoining the Fox Chattanooga newscast momentarily, so stand by. I keep moving around the radar, but we're going to go through all this broadcast here. Again, ignore that. I'm trying to turn that graphic off that we were using for radio warning, so please ignore that. There's no more warning. There's no more warning, okay? I had to turn off that graphic, which means I have to turn it on. So please ignore that, okay? Don't anyone alarmed. All right, I'm on standby at the moment because we're going to rejoin the Fox Chattanooga newscast. So just hang with me here and we'll get started, which will include tracking the radar, showing where everything is in a full forecast. Okay. All right. All right, stand by. We're about to start that broadcast. And I know everyone's got questions. We're going to cover all that coming up. We got you covered. We're about to come up. Sorry for the silence here. Just stand by. Appreciate your patience. All right, folks, meteorologist David Glenn here as we are tracking severe storms moving through the Tennessee Valley. I want to start with the temperatures out there momentarily. Again, I'm off camera because we are on our live streams as well, which you're welcome to join us on our YouTube channel, on Facebook, on X, and right now, of course, live on TV. Temperatures are quite warm, as all because of some gusty south winds. So even though storms have not moved through some of these locations, you got some strong wind gusts. That line of storms is right here, but in advance of it, we got gusts 20 to 40 miles an hour. It's howling out there, even away from any storms. And as far as where the storms are, well, here it is. It is a very narrow ribbon line of storms that extends from just east of Crossville, near Spring City, all the way down here through Ray, through northern Hamilton, and all the way down through Jackson, DeKalb County. There's now 2 warnings out here. These are severe thunderstorm warnings out for Jackson and DeKalb County. You know, earlier when we started the broadcast, there was a tornado warning. That, thankfully, expired. Okay, However, there's still a severe thunderstorm warning out, which covers all of Jackson and DeKalb County because it's a very narrow line from Henniger to Fort Payne to Collinsville. This particular warning out until 9:30 Central, 10:30 Eastern. For the rest of our viewing area in Tennessee and Georgia, you notice these beige outline of the counties here? Well, this is not a severe thunderstorm warning. These instead are a special weather statement. Basically means between now and the top of the hour, 11 o'clock, all the way to Cleveland, well, that means some storms could provide wind gusts upwards of 50, 55 miles an hour as they make their way to the east at 45 miles an hour. And if I zoom in just a bit, you can see that very narrow line. Oh, it's right there, slicing right through parts of Marion County, approaching the Hamilton County border on Signal Mountain to Red Bank. There's Walden. There's a very strong gust in the mountain, Saudi Mountain, Dayton Mountain, all these areas getting some very strong gusts right along 27 and right through northern parts of Hamilton County. I'll show you the velocity scan. It's going to add a lot of colors in here, but we just take a look at some of the velocity scans. This gives you an idea of how strong some of the wind gusts could be. So rough estimate, you got some wind gusts there in Lookout Valley, Whiteside area, around 30 miles an hour. Some gusts as high as 50. So it's going to be very windy as this line makes its way to the east. We have seen the wind gusts kind of die down just a tad as it moves to the east, but these gusts have been a little bit stronger the farther south you go. So some of these are quite strong, especially right here near Trenton. That bright red, well, that's a gust upwards of 35. Back over portions of DeKalb County, same thing, upwards of 30. So still some very strong gusts in those areas. This is not going to last all night long. It's not. I would say by the time we get to around midnight, it'll be advancing eastward outside the viewing area rather quickly. It's all due in part to the movement of a cold front. We got one front that's providing the rain, and then behind that, this front, that's going to cause a rapid drop in temperature overnight as all the rain moves out. Severe threat, again, remains at a level 1, but that again, after midnight, will rapidly decrease in intensity. So here we go. From now to about just after midnight, look how fast that moves. After midnight, it's rapidly moving out. Temperatures initially cool down a bit, but by morning, we are down to the 30s, some 20s north. Throughout the day Friday, well, it's going to be breezy, sunny, and chilly. Highs mainly in the 40s. So there's your day planner for Friday. A much colder day, 30s early, upper 40s and sunny throughout the afternoon. But it's going to be the coldest day in the next 7. Yeah, warming trend through the weekend. This is also going to be some very calm weather coming up. Only slight rain chances during this time. It's mild through the weekend and warming up toward Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. By Christmas Day, temperatures could be pushing near 70. All right, folks, back to the live stream here. Here's what we have going on. Thanks for staying with us. We're going to isolate and talk more about the radar here coming up and show you more what's happening. Look at that wind gust. That's before the storms arrive. Near 40 in Cleveland, 23 Dayton, 23 Crossville, 25 in the city. There's that very narrow line right there. New advisory just blinking on the screen there, which includes Catoosa, Walker. Again, these are all going to start popping up pretty quickly because of this line of storms coming in. So just to give you an example, this which includes part of Catoosa, part of Dade, Walker, Chattooga, this out until 11 o'clock Eastern. There we go. Pull the microphone up here. Wind gusts upwards of 40 to 50 mile an hour wind gusts. So the gusts are coming down just a little bit. 40 to 50 is still strong, but it's kind of dropping below that 50 60 threshold. So 40 to 50 miles an hour. Uh-oh. Hang on. I think the microphone came unplugged there for a second.
Yeah, well, we'll.
Make sure you guys can you guys still hear me? The microphone went off momentarily. Can you make sure you can still hear me there? Just making sure. Check, check, check. Just let me know in the comments you can still hear me. Because I for a brief second there, the microphone came unplugged. And sometimes that causes the live stream to go a little wonky. Good. You can hear me. Fine. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Melanie. I've had that microphone come unplugged before, and then it just caused the whole webcast to drop out. It's like, don't do that. Technology. Gotta love it. All right. So the strongest storms seem to be that part of now DeKalb County. I really think now most of Jackson County, most of this now you're on the back side of that. So now all that line is into DeKalb County. So there we go. You can see along that line, rapid wind shift. Again, the purple, it doesn't mean that that's the outer radius of the Atlanta radar. That's all that means, okay? But these wind speeds are coming down just a bit. Still could cause some property damage in spots. And again, here's the storms rolling through the city right now. Man, it's hard to see because of this, but again, very heavy rain on it. Lookout Mountain, we got some lightning, thunder around the city. You're probably seeing some flashes there to the west. Over near Lookout Valley, some lightning right along 24 coming into town. Red Bank, heavy rain, and all up and down 27. Go up Quarter J, Saudi Daisy, up to Sail Creek, up to Dayton. Heavy rain continues there, along with some strong wind gusts. The wind gust potential is just right on that, initial line. And it's causing the rain to come down in buckets, a shift in direction of the rain. But that's where the winds are the strongest. But it doesn't last long. Decatur, there you go. It's right on the Ray-Meigs County line, just west of the 58 corridor. So you're going to have your winds picking up really shortly. Same thing in 10 miles. Spring City is right over you now with the heavy rain and strong wind gust. It's now east of Crossville. So Crossville, you're good. It's raining in Crossville, but the wind gusts aren't as strong. Harriman, you got the wind coming your way. And here we go, time at 10:30. So yeah, between 10:30 and 11, you're Cleveland, but it's moving rapidly, folks. It's raining in Ringgold. You got wind-driven rain in Ringgold, but you're going to get wind speeds a little stronger here. So Rossville, Fort Oglethorpe, Flintstone, Kensington into the Cove area here. Very strong gusts coming up and over Lookout. D says it's raining in Brainerd. Chuck said wind and rain is bad in Dayton. Thank you, Chuck. Yes, Ashley, once it goes over Signal and Dunlap and you get on the backside of it, you're in much better shape. And it's going to be pretty shortly. So still mainly a lot of rain behind it, but not like the punch of wind we see now. No tornado watch for Cleveland. No watch at all for Cleveland. Just a special weather statement. I think the risk of a tornado is pretty low. We're watching, though. It's never zero when you do a line of storm like this. There's always just a very small chance, but right now it's just a small chance. Thank you, Todd. I appreciate your kind words. Stay batting down there in Sail Creek. It'll be by you pretty shortly. Won't last too much longer. Morgan, no watches at the time. The only thing we have right now is special weather statements in all these counties shaded in beige. Okay, that's a step below severe thunderstorm warning. It's kind of like a thunderstorm advisory. The only warning is here in DeKalb County, which covers most of the county, because the storms are right there on the I-59 corridor. So that warning, severe thunderstorm warning out for DeKalb County till the top of the hour, 11 o'clock Eastern, 10 o'clock Central. We'll have to see if Atlanta holds on to that for Chattooga and Walker. But either way, even under these advisories, don't be fooled by, don't think, it's just an advisory. No. Advisory still means very strong wind gusts. Gusts upwards of 50, 55, and very heavy rain. But again, Look at all these areas. South Pittsburgh, Jasper, Whitwell, Altamont, Tracy City. Yes, it's raining. It's breezy, but the worst weather or potential for the strongest gusts is now east of you. Things are better. Pikeville, Spencer, things are better. It's raining, yes, but that strong wind gust potential is moving away from you. Okay. Again, we'll be joining our Fox Chattanooga newscast momentarily, so I'll have a pause for a second. We'll take them through the radar view and then go back and continue our live stream. So these are all thunderstorm advisories here. That's a step below a warning. Still, wind gusts 40 to 50 are possible. Very heavy rain. There's a real punch of wind on that leading edge of the line. Then back here, this is severe thunderstorm warning continues for DeKalb County. These are stronger. You folks in Chattooga County, let's keep an eye on that. That's where some of the winds are stronger. So Somerville, Tryon, we're going to watch that in the next half hour. It could be a little stronger there. We're going to join our broadcast here momentarily. Stand by. Probably hear the rain on our rooftop right now. 30 seconds, we'll join the broadcast. You won't notice any change on here. We're about to join the broadcast. The reason why I'm on standby. That's why I've got the radar still up here so you can see where the warnings are. And we'll talk about this now. Track it for you coming up. All right, here's a live look at radar right now. You can see that line of storm stretching from just north of Decatur up to Spring City, all the way down to the city. Very heavy wind-driven downpours in the city with some very strong gusts right along the Dade-Walker border, all the way down to DeKalb County. Severe thunderstorm warning out for DeKalb County to the top of the hour. Several severe thunderstorm advisories for wind gusts upwards of 40 to 50. Where you see these beige outline counties there. This should all rapidly move eastward just shortly after midnight. It's not lasting all night long at all. In fact, by tomorrow morning, it's all gone. And so is the warmth. Temperatures in the 30s to start your Friday. A lot of sunshine and highs upper 40s later in the day. We'll take another live look at radar. The full 7-day forecast for Christmas Eve and Christmas Day coming up. All right, folks, now let's go back to the radar view. Let's take a look at it here. Pause it. Very heavy downpours around the city. We got heavy downpours where we are. You might be able to hear it through the microphone. Lookout Mountain, Fort Oglethorpe, Rossville, East Brainerd are getting downpours. But all this where you see the red, orange, this is wind-driven downpours. We'll take a look at the velocity scan in a second. Just heard from, let's see, Paul Womble in Dayton. Said Dayton just got hammered. Seems to be finally calming down. That's good to hear. But you can see how quickly it rolled through Dayton. I'm just going to use Dayton as an example. This is just a 1 hour time frame. About a 10 to 20 minute time frame. Yep, a lot of wind. And now it's right over Decatur. Decatur, very strong wind gust. And right before 11 o'clock Eastern, Riceville, Athens, be aware of that. Riceville, Athens, Sweetwater, between now and 11, That's coming your way. Strong gusts, heavy rain. Just be inside in a safe place. Let this pass on by. Okay. 10 Mile. It's now east of Spring City. So Spring City, you've got rain, but the wind should be calming down for you. Dayton, same thing. You're on the back side of it. Things should be eventually calming down. But Decatur, very heavy rain. Riceville will be your way before 11 o'clock. Let's move downstream a little bit. Snow Hill, Harrison, Hopewell, Cleveland is right along the Bradley-Hamilton County border, up around the Meigs-McMinn border. So Cleveland, right before 11 o'clock, your winds are going to get a little stronger. Ottawa, East Brainerd, Appleton, all get some very heavy rain. Ringgold, heavy rain. And there are the strong gusts now, right along the spine on the eastern brow of Lookout, right there. So over here, Rock City, up to around Point Park, strong gusts there. Let me show you some of the gusts. Let's take a look at that on a velocity scan. Look at that bright red. That's some very strong gusts there. 45 above the surface. That means easily on the mountaintops, 40 to 50 mile an hour gusts. So very brief bursts of these winds coming in. But look how strong they are. It's right in that advisory range, just 32 to 44. That's right around Chickamauga to about Rossville. Let's come down this line just a bit. Other bursts near Kensington here, close to 40. South of Chickamauga, close to 30. So very strong gusts accompanying that line. That can cause some tree limbs down. It can blow away those Christmas decorations. Be sure they're secured. Probably not good to go out right now if you're under the gun right now. Just under those winds, just stay put and let the storms pass on by. Now, heads up into Tucson County. For you folks in Tryon, Somerville, get this line coming in right here. This one has been a little bit stronger from about Mentone down to Fort Payne. This is still a warning out to the top of the hour. Severe thunderstorm warning, that is. No longer a tornado warning. Gust of 30. Okay, they're not quite as strong. We'll see. Keep an eye on that. You see how fast that's moving. So that'll be coming off lookout near the Cloudland area to Menlo, and then be aware in Somerville, Tryon, Lafayette. Some pretty nasty gusts are coming your way before 11 o'clock, roughly the next 10 to 15 minutes. Okay? Strong gusts, heavy rain, Valley View, West Brow, Flintstone, Rossville, Fort Oglethorpe, East Ridge. Heavy rain downtown. It's not going to last all that long. Here's clap thunder. Hear that? Got a little lightning out there. That strike wasn't too far from us. We're about here. There's where it was, right there. Close by. So Logan says winds hitting just north of Spring City. D says rain and wind in Brainerd. Kinsey says wind and rain bad in Rossville. Cynthia says power blinking off and on. Wind is blowing in Kensington. Tammy says Georgetown, heavy rain, extremely high winds. Again, that wind is going to seem like it's lasting forever, and then all of a sudden it's just going to stop. It's brief in its existence, but it makes its presence known when it's here. Just hang tight where you are. Stay in a safe place. Let this pass on by. And they've really narrowed that severe thunderstorm warning there in DeKalb County. Narrowed it down to areas mainly right along east of 59, east of Highway 11. All those other areas, Jackson County, western DeKalb County, are in the clear. It is raining, but that severe threat's ended for you. That's good. But again, this is the only warning locally in our viewing area that's out to the top of the hour. And these advisories through Athens, through Cleveland, all out to the top of the hour as well, to 11 o'clock. Again, this is for wind gust around 50, 55. The threshold for severe is 58, so it's knocking on the door to severe, but just below that. Hopefully it stays that way, but still 50, 55. And rain, that's loud. That can cause some damage. So hang tight. Stay there till these storms pass on by. Caitlin says wind and rain horrible in Grandview, right near Spring City. lost power. Anna says power out in Decatur. Anna says Harrison getting the rain and wind right now. Mandy says wind and rain in Chickamauga. Power outage in Flintstone. Tara says power out in Decatur, super high winds. Brittany says heavy rain and wind near Lake Winnie area. Thank y'all for all the reports. Appreciate y'all. Yeah, we're going to be joining our Fox Chattanooga newscast real briefly here for a tease. So I have to be on standby for a second. Then we'll do a full broadcast again. Yeah. Just our way of continuing our live stream on social media, on our YouTube pages, and on air all at the same time. I'm on standby. We'll do a quick little tease here, and then we'll do the full forecast coming up. And I'm tracking this powerful line of storms moving on by. We got heavy rain, strong wind gusts for around the city to about Brainerd, approaching Cleveland. It's right over Chickamauga. It's right over Fort Oglethorpe and approaching Ringgold. I'll tell you how long the severe threat will last and when things will start cooling off a bit. Your 7-day forecast right through Christmas Eve and Christmas Day is next. All right, folks, here we go. Continuing our broadcast here. Let's take a look at some wind speeds around the city at the moment. Let's go here, Snow Hill over to Ottawa. Boy, it is loud out there right now. You have the roar of the rain, the roar of the wind, and you get the thunder. You can see some wind gusts, 28 to 36. So pretty strong there. Still pretty strong. Down here. Let's take a look down here. Kensington to Chickamauga. You see those bright bursts of red. That's over near the battlefield right there. 40 to 50. That's above the surface. Approaching 40. So around Chickamauga, you just had those bursts of wind going by. No doubt causing some power outages in spots. Once we really get to the more heavily populated area and there's more power lines around, you're going to get more outages around as well. Farther south on that line, it doesn't seem to be as intense. Very heavy rain here right on the state line. Gusts a little bit less. We're going to be doing a full forecast here for our Fox Chattanooga newscast. Join along. We'll cover all this on the radar and talk about the forecast. I do want to show you all these areas. If you live west of Chattanooga, Marion, Sequatchie, Bledsoe, Grundy, Marion, Franklin, Jackson, looking good. It's raining, it's breezy, but the worst weather's past you. That's good. All right, stand by. We're going to start our Fox Chattanooga weathercast here coming up. You can be talking about professional voice. Just like that, it stopped raining here. They got calm. All right, here we go. It's been a busy night, but we expected that with this line of storms moving on through. We still have several advisories out. All these counties in beige represent thunderstorm special weather statements. It's a step below severe thunderstorm warning, but it does mean that along this line, you could have some wind gusts on near Athens, near Cleveland, to west of Dalton, to Ringgold, to Lafayette. Wind gusts upwards of 40, 50 miles an hour accompanied by that heavy rain. It doesn't last long. Boy, when the winds are howling and it's raining, it sounds loud out there. We got several power outages already. There's one warning still in effect, a severe thunderstorm warning for DeKalb County till the top of the hour. Everything else, though, is primarily wind and rain. We'll start on the southern flank of this. It's all down near Menlo to Cloudland, but Tryon and Somerville before 11 o'clock. Be aware of some strong wind gusts, heavy rain. Same thing in Lafayette. Heavy downpours of rain, strong gusts over you. Chickamauga over to the battlefield, over to Fort Oglethorpe, up to East Brainerd. Very heavy rain, wind-driven rain at that. And some strong gusts, upwards of 40 to 50 are possible. Same thing, Appleton to Ottawa, accompanied by some lightning and thunder. So it's not only loud because of the wind and rain, it's loud because of the claps of thunder. Same thing toward Cleveland. You're about to get some of those stronger gusts coming up and over White Oak, crossing the Bradley-Hamilton County line. Then we go eastward. It's now moved, at least the worst of it, out of Meigs County and now right along the I-75 corridor. So farther east towards Sweetwater, strong gusts, heavy rain coming your way before 11 o'clock. Let me show you again, if I just show you the whole overview of the viewing area. If you live west of this line, so all these areas out here where it's green, your weather's improving. You're no longer under that severe threat. But it's mainly from the city and now east. So right along 75 and east, between now and just after midnight, that's where the storms will roll on by. I think once we're past midnight, the threat will rapidly start to diminish. And here's the reason why. Notice again, it's the leading edge of that line that's the strongest. Back here is primarily rain and not severe. We've got two fronts coming on by. One front is providing the showers and storms that we have now. The second front is going to provide colder air. That is going to move in first thing in the morning. And you will notice that right off to start your day tomorrow. So here's our future track forecast here. As I time everything out for the rest of the overnight, again, this is not going to last all night long. Primarily the rain and storms will pass on by just after midnight. It's around 1 a.m. It's exiting way off to the east, and things will rapidly improve. Overnight, temperatures down to 30s, might even be well below freezing along the plateau. Mid-20s, even some flurries up there. No worries about any frozen areas because the wind will do a lot to dry things out. Rest of the day, Friday, a chilly day. Not as cold as last weekend, but still cooler than it was today. Highs in the 40s, breezy, but at least it will be sunny. So again, the severe threat with the storms just after midnight, that'll be ending. Well, off to the east. Tomorrow, a calmer day. Plenty of sun. 30s early and 40s during the afternoon. Let's talk about the 7-day forecast. Fairly quiet weather pattern coming up. We got the coldest day. Well, that's tomorrow. The weekend, well, we start warming up. Cold morning, but things start warming up. The Christmas week, each day gets warmer. Mid-60s Christmas Eve, and look at Christmas Day. It wouldn't surprise me that some areas reach near 70 on Christmas Day, and again, mainly dry, well above the average for this time of year. Okay, watching some comments here. I got the radar up. People asking about rotation and tornado threat. That tornado threat is extremely low. There was a radar indicated tornado warning for DeKalb and Jackson County. That expired. Thankfully, I don't think anything came of that. You know, we have seen some strong wind gusts on the velocity scans, not any tornadic activity at the moment. Okay, that threat remains very low. Okay, just be aware of that. But a lot of people have been asking about that. Again, over the next hour, an hour or less for many, things can rapidly improve. And I really think once we get past midnight, about a little over an hour from now, in fact, I'll just time it out for you. Let's do a quick timeline here. So forward speed is still east at 45. So here we go. Okay. By midnight, this is not a warning. The red's not a warning. This is a tracker. We call it the bacon tracker, jokingly. The line that's right here by midnight is going to be right here, from Murphy to well east of Blue Ridge. So most everybody, over the course of the next hour, rapidly improves. Now, the rain doesn't end. It'll still be raining, but the worst weather's on the leading edge. It'll be moving out pretty quickly. As quickly as it came up on us, quickly moves out, okay? Not lasting all night long. So over the next hour, it'll be rapidly moving east outside the viewing area. That's how quick it's going to move. I'd say by 12:30, gone. Still be raining, but not severe. You won't have to stay up to watch this. But if you live, let's draw a line here. This area I'm going to circle. All right. All of our viewing area right in here, if you live in this area, going to sleep. Going to bed. It's still raining, it's breezy, but not severe. Okay, you can call it a night. You don't have to stay on our web stream. I'd love to have you join us. Viewer numbers mean everything, but I don't want you scared either. You can go into sleep. And the city, things will be improving. I'd say by 11:30 is out of the city. Still raining, but not severe. Okay. All these areas circled, good. I had someone say that we don't, we talk about the warnings, we don't talk about the all clear. I'm pretty sure I mentioned the all clear, but I'm making sure right now that I tell you it's all clear in these areas. Okay. I guess that person just isn't watching when we give the all clear. Anyway, so now we have Murray, Whitfield, and Western Fan until 11:30. We just showed the tracker. Special weather statement there, wind gust, again, from 40 to 50 miles an hour. We're seeing that wind speed's coming down just a bit. Not quite as strong, but still 40, 50 strong with very heavy rain. So that's a special weather statement out to 11:30. And more than likely, heads up in Eastern McMinn, heads up Monroe, heads up Polk, heads up Cherokee. You'll probably have an advisory over you shortly. So it'll go between 11 and midnight. Someone just asked, when is Athens going to be out of it? Athens will be out of it very shortly. You're almost on the backside. By 11:15, most of the worst of it's gone. So it's right along 11, right along the 75 corridor. It's approaching that beautiful 411 area. So from Inglewood to Etowah, get ready. Heavy rain coming your way. But it lasts a half hour or less, the worst weather. I mean, here, it's all quiet now. It's coming down in buckets. There you go. You see the heavy rain, lightning, a lot of it. This is going over White Oak, right here. So you're in Cleveland, you're right on the leading edge of the strong wind gusts. So here we go in the heart of Bradley County. It's getting windy, it's getting rainy. Worst of it's coming through. So between now and 11:30, worse weather, then it'll just kind of pass on by. But Georgetown, Ooltewah, Snow Hill, East Brainerd. East Brainerd's almost in the backside. Downtown's in the backside of it now. So the worst weather is gone. We'll check my gauge at my house, see what the peak wind speed was. I got a new anemometer which measures wind speed and direction, and I haven't been too impressed with it. I may have to get another one. My old one did better, but it was getting old and not reliable. I got a new one. Did okay. Let's see. Let's see what that speed was. And as I say that, it doesn't load. Anyway, I did see another advisory pop up here for parts of Monroe and McMinn. There it is. That line going through Athens. That is out to 11:45 for McMinn, Monroe, which includes Loudoun County, Blount County. Again, same thing. Strong wind gusts, heavy downpours of rain. That line's moving rapidly east. But there it is. Ringgold, Lafayette, right over you. Strong wind gusts, heavy rain. It's a very narrow ribbon of wind, but boy, you know it when it's there. It goes all the way down to South Walker County. It's approaching Tryon and Somerville. Strike those gusts down there. That was with that slightly stronger line. That was coming out of DeKalb County, but it's still 40 to 50 is possible. No rotation along it. But either way, Somerville, Tryon, between now and 11:30, you're going to have the worst weather roll by. Heavy rain, wind. Rome, over the course of the next hour, it's going to take a little while longer to get to Rome and Floyd County, but north of Rome and northern Floyd County is under this advisory, which goes through Gordon County until probably 11:30, 11:45. So there's wind gust in McMinn County. See, it rode right through. See that change in color, change in direction, rode right through the Athens area. Boom, right there. Some of those speeds are pretty strong. We get those bright shades. If I can pinpoint that. 64, yeah. You could have gotten an easy wind gust into severe range there. Mic check 1 2 3 4 1 2. I got you. Can you hear me? All right. We're about to do the News Channel 9 webcast coming up momentarily. So we'll do like we've been doing the Fox Chattanooga newscast and doing a quick forecast here. But that shows you some of the gust above the surface in Athens. But the good news for Athens is you're almost in the back side of it. If I put the velocity scan back up there again, near Athens, you're now on the back side of the wind. So the worst wind is right where it went from blue to green, right there. Now you're on the back side of things, and things will be starting to improve, but give it another 15, 20 minutes. But again, that was some of those bursts there around 60 miles an hour could have made it to the surface. So heads up in the Inglewood area. Yeah, very strong gust right there. But Athens almost to the back side of that. And so it's now east of I-75 and approaching 411. Yeah, but this is where weather should be leading, though. Well, glad we're on the live stream.
Oh my God. Were they overturn it? Yes. Yes. Oh.
I gotta go in the studio. Okay. Let's check these other speeds through here real quick. Using the 40 to 50 range from Ringgold to Cleveland. Again, when you hear that wind, it is hard to even tell the difference between how strong those wind gusts are. I mean, it is, if it's 30, 40, 50, it all sounds the same when the rain's coming down, the wind beating on the windows there, and then a loud claps of thunder. But boy, it's not long lasting. It seems like it is when it's happening. But there it is, that very narrow line right there, snaking all the way down from your Fayette to Ringgold, up to about Cleveland. Now Athens, finally on the backside of that in Athens. However, eastern, northeastern parts of McMinn County is still pretty bad with the wind. But things will be improving there in Athens very shortly. Very shortly. But in Etowah, Inglewood, boy, those winds are strong. Let me check that velocity scan again. Watch that blue to green. There's that strong line coming in right there. Right there. That was right about 1043, 1048. And there you have it around where we are at 11 o'clock now. So the strongest winds are right here when it changes color. So be aware of that right along 411 and just northwest of there. Sweetwater now on the back edge, still very windy, but things are rapidly improving back here to Decatur, Sweetwater, and Calhoun. Again, just to show you, all warnings have expired, but there are still numerous severe weather statements, special weather statements out because of the line of storms. So it's below severe thresholds. But remember, severe threshold is a wind gust of 58 miles an hour. these wind gusts are still 50, 55. And as we saw above the surface in McMinn County, above the surface around 60. So still is teetering very close to severe levels. So stay in a safe place until these storms pass by. Not a time to go on the porch and go, winds are blowing strong. I don't want to see a video of it. I don't want to see a picture of it. I want you to stay inside. Let this pass on by. Here at our building, it was crazy. About 15 minutes, and it all just went away. So it's kind of about that long. That's where the narrow line stretches, right about here, all the way down. Areas west of this line, west of I-75, things are rapidly improving. All right, so downtown Chattanooga, things have rapidly improved. Still rough from Ringgold to about Rocky Face to about Lafayette. You can see these strong gusts in here. (30 to 40). Very heavy burst of rain right in here. Some wind-driven rain there. All right, about to do a live update here on News Channel 9, so stand by. I gotta pause here while I'm on standby. Still tracking this powerful line of storms making its way from the west to the east, so right around Cleveland. Strong wind gusts there. All of these areas, which include Cleveland, all the way down to Dalton, Calhoun, and Somerville and Tryon. These are all special weather statements. They step below severe thunderstorm warning, but it still means some of these gusts in here could be high or just above 50 miles an hour. Right now, slicing right through Bradley County, all the way down through Whitfield County, to Tunnel Hill, just west of Dalton, over to Rocky Face, just east of Lafayette. Heavy downpours of rain accompanied by very strong wind gusts all along that line. Again, just below severe levels, but worthy of just staying inside. Let this line pass on by. Things are improving in Decatur and Athens and points off to the west. But again, our main severe threshold between now and then just after midnight, all of this will be moving away. It's not lasting all night long. I'll look at your forecast for Friday. It's drier, colder, much different than it is now. 30s by morning, only highs in the 40s and sunny throughout the afternoon. Another look at radar, the full 7-day forecast coming up. All right, back to the radar. Back to what we're here for. All right, Athens, you're finally on the back side of that line. So things will be more rapidly improving over the next few minutes. But Inglewood, Etowah, Madisonville, nah, it's pretty windy and rainy for now. Same thing towards Tellico Plains. It's just now starting there. Cleveland, well, look at that line. Cleveland to South Cleveland, all the way down to the county line. Down near Red Clay. So very heavy rain, strong gusts there. You see the gust where it goes from blue to green. Right there, that's where that gust just went right on through. So in and around Cleveland, still some gust right now. Not sure we're strong into that. Come on. Yeah, some of those have been quite strong, just above the surface. It's like a brief burst of that wind. Could easily exceed 50, 55, and above the surface a little bit stronger, as you saw on the velocity scan. But those are the very strong gusts all the way down to Varnell and Whitfield County. Your Tunnel Hill to Rocky Face to Dalton. So right along Highway 41 from Ringgold to Dalton. Heavy rain, strong wind gusts moving through there. Even stronger down through Villanelle, now mainly east of Lafayette. Lafayette should be rapidly improving shortly. Tryon, same thing in Somerville. Give it the next 10, 15 minutes, you notice some more rapid improvement. But that strong line now, between now and 11:30, will be near Resaca, Calhoun, these areas up before 11:30. And right along the I-75 corridor. It's going to slow down traffic, heavy rain, strong wind gusts. Tornado threat's real low with this. I've had a lot of folks ask about tornadoes. We've not had any, thankfully. Hopefully it stays that way. Anytime you deal with line segments like this, sometimes you have quick spit ups. I don't see it at the moment, but we're watching. Okay. But right now, that tornado threat is low. The main issue here is the strong wind gusts potential, which could get easily up to 50, 55 for a brief period and then quickly drop off. And this won't last all night long. Now, as I mentioned, once we get beyond midnight and around 12:30, about the next 60, 90 minutes, it's all gone. Okay. At least the wind. It'll still be raining for a little while longer, but not the severe threat. So to give you an idea, in the city of Chattanooga, there's rain coming down, but the severe threat's done. Saudi Daisy, severe threat's over. Dayton, it's raining, but severe threat's over. Seal Creek, it's over. Dunlap, Pikeville, it's all raining, it's breezy, but the severe threat's passed. So again, just to show you a quick outline, we'll circle it here. Drew a line from I-75 and west, roughly. All this area here is good. We're good. It's raining, yes, but the severe threat's over. Okay. Let's see. Cindy said just pass through East Ridge. People noticing power outages. Power in Dunlap, Charleston. I'm just going to go back over the past 10 minutes. Lost power on Clearwater Road. Shannon was ready for it to end in Harrison. I got you. Thank you for your kind words, D. We're glad to be here. We're always glad to do this. Shannon, yeah, in Murphy, it's going to be there within the hour. But primarily, I think it's going to stay below severe levels. But with that said, it's going to be pretty windy, pretty rainy with some strong gusts upwards of 40, 50 miles an hour. So again, just be prepared just to kind of stay inside, let that storm quickly move by. It doesn't last long, but you're really under the heavy rain and strong gusts for about a half hour's time. Again, all those areas circled, things are better. Okay. In a nutshell. And again, we're just seeing now that narrow line of counties clustered all together. These special advisories. In fact, someone asked about Murphy, and there's Cherokee County now under one of these advisories. I believe that'll go out to midnight, right? 11:45 still. I think it'll go through Clay County through midnight also. So just after midnight, it's going to be rapidly exiting off to the east really quickly. But between now and the next hour, let's just take you on a quick scan of a timing. We'll start to the south. It's going to cover a little bit more real estate here. So over the next hour, between now and just after midnight, this is where that line will be. So by then, it'll be past Ellijay, it'll be past Calhoun, past Adairsville. Here's a quick timeline. Calhoun around 11:21. About 10 minutes from now. Adairsville around 11:30. Ellijay, all clear but windy right now. That line will move on through you by leading edge by 11:44. Just after midnight around Murphy. And there's another quick timeline here of this line segment. So Tuckahoe Plains around 11:15. Copper Hill around 11:40. Murphy again right around midnight. And 12:30 around Valleytown. Stand by to join our broadcast. And things are improving around Chattanooga. However, from I-75 and east, still windy, still rainy. But I'll tell you how much longer that will last and why tomorrow is a colder day. Your 7-day forecast next. Here's some of the wind gusts just to go back away from the radar for a second. Gusts during the hour close to 40 in the city. Can you notice right here? That's right where that wind shift line is. You can watch that progress throughout this broadcast. Wind coming in from the south right there. Oh yeah, I'm seeing it here on the live stream. So there's where that wind shift line is. And notice how the speeds come down to the north and west. But in advance of it, pretty strong and then strong along the line. And then back to the north and west, a little bit lower. So it'll still be breezy overnight, but the temperatures start to cool down. Let's see if we can see any change in temperature yet to the west. So you can see here's that initial wind shift. It's already down to 50 in Chattanooga. We've gone down about 10 degrees since the rain came through. Not much colder here. A little bit colder from Memphis, but there's a pool of colder air. That moves our way overnight. By morning, so we'll be in the 30s by first thing in the morning. There's actually two fronts. This shows it better. So we've got this front, which is pushing this line of storms over us now. Little cooler, and the colder air is back here. That's what's going to chill us for overnight and really chill us for the day Friday. You can see temperatures just locally. There's a change. Look at the difference here. There's the line, and look at the wind shift. That warm south wind, and that somewhat cooler northwest wind. So illustrated pretty well, just locally. Temperatures range, look at this difference. 21 degrees from here to here. 100-mile stretch, but about 21-degree difference. Good thing in Cleveland, you're down the back edge of this, so the worst wind has shifted to the county line. Still over southern parts of Bradley, still entering northern Murray, northern parts of Whitfield. But again, in Cleveland, things are rapidly improving. That's good. Athens, things are finally improving. It seemed like it took forever, right? But Tellico Plains, from Von Orr, Tellico Plains, and now, over the next hour, less than an hour, moving through Polk County. So be ready for that on 64 through the Ocoee River area. Copper Hill, McKaysville, Turtletown, about 11:45-ish, moving your way, crossing the state line. And right over Dalton. Heavy rain, strong wind gusts here. Sugar Valley to Dalton, Crandall, Chatsworth. So be ready. Just stay in your safe place where you are. And once the wind and rain dies down, things will rapidly improve. Once again, we're going to rejoin our News Channel 9 broadcast here momentarily. And we'll step you through the timing of some of these storms and the rest of the forecast coming up. So stand by. Stand by. We're waiting for our broadcast to start here on News Channel 9. We got some strong wind gusts, some with storms, some away from storms, but still between 20, 30 miles an hour. The farther west you go, the speeds do come down. This is not going to be windy all night long, although it kind of seems like it now when you're out there in the storms. But rather quickly, as this line advances off to the east, over the next hour, it's going to be well east of Murphy and almost exiting the viewing area. So once that happens, things will rapidly start to improve. Nevertheless, all these areas here from Dalton, Calhoun to Rome, up to now east of Cleveland, into Polk County, now east of Athens, into Monroe County, and into Cherokee County. All these are weather advisories, special weather statements for this line of storms moving on by, which has with it, again, some very strong wind gusts and also very heavy rain. Cleveland, good news for you. You're now on the back side of this, so winds will be subsiding a bit. The worst of the weather is now to your east along the county line with Polk County, parts of Whitfield, Murray. That's where the line of storms is moving by. Dalton right over that line. It's basically right between Dalton and Chatsworth now, and right now approaching Cleveland. But in Somerville, Tryon, Lafayette, things are rapidly improving for you as the line is now advanced off to the east. Athens, also big improvement over the past hour. We have some very strong gusts between 10 and 11 over Minn County. Now it's squarely over Monroe County and moving through Polk and eventually Cherokee County. Again, this is not a threat that's going to last all night long. All the rain, it does extend back into middle Tennessee, but breaking up rather quickly. The worst weather is here, mainly along I-75 at east. If you live west of I-75, the severe threat for you, well, it's over. Yes, it's still raining, but the severe threat is starting to diminish quite a bit. We got two fronts that are going to roll by overnight. First front providing the showers that we have now, a little bit cooler right now, but we dropped about 10 degrees since the rain rolled on by. But this next front, well, that comes on by overnight by morning and really drops our temperatures down into the 30s. So here's a future track. Again, things rapidly improve by midnight, 1 a.m. You're looking at now just about an hour and a half from now, rapidly moving away to the east. There'll still be some showers around, but no more severe threat overnight. Temperatures initially drop back to the 40s, and then, well, by morning, we're down to the 30s and breezy. So be prepared to bundle up throughout the day on Friday, maybe some 20s north and west, even a couple of flurries up near Crossville. But otherwise, after the cold start, plenty of sunshine through Friday. It's going to be a breezy, cool day, highs mainly into the 40s, but it is a dry start to the upcoming weekend. So your overall forecast for Friday, much different from today and much different from what we have right now. We're going to see sunshine throughout the day, but it's going to be chilly. 30s early, 40s through the afternoon hours. So let's go through the 7-day forecast. We're seeing the most active weather now because throughout the rest of the next 7 days, it's fairly quiet. But as we approach the Christmas week, first we'll start with the weekend. Cold morning Saturday, but each day milder, only slight rain chances. Same thing early next week, maybe a little rain early Tuesday, but otherwise the Christmas week is gradually warmer each day. Look at Christmas Eve, 65, upper 60s, maybe even as high as 70 on Christmas Day, Thursday. Way above average for this time of year. Let's pop up any damage reports across the area. Damage reports kind of slow to come in as you go through the night of hours. Have not heard a lot of damage, which is good. But we're going to pop up here some of the storm reports. We'll just see if there's been any. Oh, I got a few of those. It's just where these pop up. Let's just see. Let's stop the radar for a second. So let's see what this was. Thunderstorm wind damage in Warren County. Yes, in Morrison, not far from Minville. Wind damage there that occurred around 9:12 Eastern. Then over near Huntsville, trees down on Highway 53. That was about 9:30 Eastern. That was in Madison County. No other, thankfully, damage reports, but a lot of it's because it's at night. You get to the light of day, sheds light on it. So for now, we haven't heard any widespread. The fact that we do have some power outages tells you how strong the wind gusts were. A lot of you reported some power outages there. So it's been a little rough out there. I'll look at this from an EPB point of view. If anybody else has from BEC or other big producer locally. Let me pull up these numbers EPB. Yeah. So at the moment, EPB has about 2,700 people affected from 71 different outage incidents. 5 repairs are in progress to restore 1,100 people. So hats off to the crews, the men and women of those crews out there where it's still raining, trying to get y'all power back. So they're out there, they know about it. So again, 2,700 people affected on the EPB. There's 71 different outages reported. 5 repairs are in progress, and those 5 repairs will help restore about half those customers. So again, a lot of it, and I'm just looking at the map here, it's really all across Hamilton County. Kind of clustered from downtown East Ridge to Rossville, clustered in that area, and a little more sporadic to the east. That's just from the EPB point of view. So 2,700 without power. All right, let's see what we got here. That line kind of breaking up a bit, but Tellico Plains down to Turtletown, to right along the Ocoee River to Copper Hill. And here we go. Still pretty robust here. That's the strongest line segment locally at the moment is that right there now over Murray County. So I moved out of Whitfield. So things are improving in Whitfield County. There you go. Look at that. That bright red. Goodness gracious. Let's just pull up some of those wind speed numbers. Oh, it's higher than that. Let me zoom in a little bit closer. And these are brief bursts, but they're just enough to knock out the power. Yeah, there you go. Still some 40, 50 mile an hour gusts. Crandall, Chatsworth, right there with Murray. Heavy rain and wind with that. So, again, you're getting that right now. It'll be approaching, of course, the foot of Fort Mountain. So there's going to be some upslope there. So I imagine a 40, 50 mile an hour gust, you get to the top of Fort Mountain with an upslope. Okay. That can mean higher gusts there. You know, higher gust potential there. Same thing towards LJ. We'll see. There'll be some interaction with terrain features that may bring down the speeds a bit, but into those, you get into that higher terrain from Fort Mountain, all the terrain around LJ, you get the upslope, then you get the valley pockets where it's channeled in, and those speeds can be even stronger. Calhoun right over you right now. And same thing in Rome. So Rome finally getting that, southern Floyd County not under an advisory, but northern parts of Floyd is till 11:45. But nevertheless, Rome getting some very heavy rain. Things are improving in Chautauqua County, so moderate downpours, so that severe threat's gone. All of that's now from Calhoun to Resaca, so Tryon, Somerville, Lafayette, all looking good, much better. Going to sleep, you want to. Chickamauga better, Ringgold, Fort Oglethorpe, East Ridge, Chattanooga, Ooltewah, all better. Saudi Daisy, everything's good. Harrison, Snow Hill, Cleveland, all better. Calhoun, Tennessee, all better. Athens, finally, better. Etowah, Inglewood, better. It's now moving away from you. You can still hear claps of thunder, but it's moving away from you. Crossville, better. All these areas still getting rain, but all this out in here, none of this is severe. All of this is just rain. Still breezy because we've got 2 fronts coming on by. It's going to be breezy, rainy, but your severe threat is done. All that worse weather is pushing away to the east. I'd say Monroe County, we're now at about 11:28. I'd say by midnight, it's out of Monroe County, crossing the state line. I would say by midnight easily. It'll be approaching Murphy by midnight and then quickly exiting. I'd say by midnight it'll be out of Murray. So Murray, your worst weather is right now. Calhoun to Chatsworth right now, and then rapidly moving east. LJ will be before midnight coming in. But everybody else, Calhoun, you'll be improving by 11:45. Before then, things will be improving rapidly for you. But everybody else, west of I-75, things are looking much better. Much better. Better than it was when we started this 2.5 hours ago. Yes, Shannon and Harrison, you can go on to sleep. It's still raining. It'll still be breezy overnight because they got a cold front coming in. But that wind does not bring any more severe weather, okay? Johnny, yes, in Murphy, you're going to get some heavy rain and strong wind starting at about 11:45 to midnight-ish coming in. Won't last long, about a good 30, 45 minutes, and then we'll quickly move on by. But I'd say 11:45 to midnight, about that time, that line will come your way. Yeah, pretty rough out there. That's some really heavy rain. Wind-driven rain at that. But see where that's gotten really heavy? It's right near the foot of the mountain there. So you get 3,000 feet. I believe Fort Mountain's just right at about 3. So you get the higher terrain there. You got some stronger upslope flow. So right there around 411 to the foothills of the mountains there. That's some strong wind. Let's take a look at the velocity scan there. Yep, 50, 54, and very heavy rain. So wind-driven rain in those areas, but it calms down quickly. Once that line passes by, you look at it, it just drops off. Calhoun, strong wind gusts and heavy rain there. Moving away from Osaka, so things are improving. Calhoun, I think you're going to improve by 11:45. A lot of the strongest wind gusts are moving away. And right between Chatsworth and LJ between now and midnight. That's why it's going to move on through. But again, you're going to have some terrain features here. Terrain interaction, probably breaking up the solid line there a bit. But still, as I mentioned, the upslope channeling through valley pockets is going to be pretty strong through there. Through that part of Gilmer County and that part of Fannin County as well. But that is the strongest portion right there. Strong gusts upwards of 50. Let's keep an eye on that through Crandall to Chatsworth. See if they kind of babysit that as that moves on to the east. Elsewhere, it's more of a broken line, but still Turtletown, Ducktown, through the Ocoee River Gorge to Copper Hill, Tellico Plains, strong gust, heavy rain, pushing down to the Cherry-Hill Skyway area. And we're going to join our News Channel 9 broadcast one last time here. We'll give them a radar update, an update on tomorrow's forecast. I can be. Okay. Yes, just in case. Yeah. Talking to the producer. I'm not talking to myself. Got the producer in my ear. Like Secret Service. Stand by. There's a lot going on in Georgia right now, especially Murray County. That's a strong storm right there. I got some wind gusts up around 50 with that, so these advisories to continue. That line goes all the way down to just east of Rome, but now exiting rather quickly out of Monroe and Polk County. Everybody else to the west, you're improving for the rest of the night. This will exit our eastern part of the viewing area over the next hour. So not lasting all night long. It will be raining and breezy overnight, but gradually getting colder and no more severe threat. 30s early Friday, and temperatures only in the upper 40s, but sunny throughout the afternoon. All right, folks, on the live stream, stand by for just a few minutes. You're going to see this graphic stay on here. I'm going to leave the desk here just for a minute. I have to record what's known as an overnight update, which provides folks a forecast and the 7-day forecast, which airs deep into the overnight hours. So I'm going to record that. So you'll probably hear the broadcast there. But I'm going to leave the chair just for a second and then talk about that and come right back. Okay? So stand by. Stand by. And we're back. All right, folks, I told you I'd be back. And we're back. Let's go back to the radar view. having to multitask right here. You have to do so many things, but I don't want to leave the live stream. We did used to do live streams earlier. We stopped the live stream, go to our broadcast, and I just thought it was too hard for folks to just kind of jump off the live stream. So what we're doing now is we like to try and stay streamlined on the live stream, and then go into the newscast and just stay here. I think it makes it easier for everybody that we don't have to keep jumping around. Makes it easier for you to find. All right, here's what we have. We're now at about 11:38. Again, I'm going to circle this area. If you live around I-75 and west, all right, the area I'm circling right here, okay, all that, you're good. All right, things are rapidly improving. This is not an all-night event. This is going to be talking about all evening long on this live stream. This is not an all-night severe threat. Primarily, it's going to be mainly for this early evening to about midnight and quickly move on out. That's what we have right now. I'm still going to go back in and show you that velocity scan on that line right there entering Fannin and right along the Gilmer County line. So far, so good. In Gordon County, I'd say by midnight it's out of the county. We're starting to see the leading edge approaching Cherokee County. But I would say by midnight also in Monroe County, it's going to be exiting. So really, this is the last, big part right there. Everybody else, yes, it's raining. And it's still breezy, but it's not severe. Okay, so we don't have to worry about continuing the live stream. I don't want to keep you guys up all night. No worries about that. But let's zoom in and show you again. We got several counties still under these advisories. This one for Gilmer in southern Murray out to 12:15. That's about right. Then we've got Polk to Cherokee to 11:45. That'll probably get expanded and extended a little bit. And then northern part of Monroe out till 11:45. So again, we're looking at midnight-ish. A lot of areas rapidly improving. Let's show you this line of storms here. This one was right along the Murray, Fannin, Gilmer County line. But as I mentioned, it's approaching the higher terrain. You're getting those 3,000 foot peaks there, especially Fort Mountain, just around 3,000. There's a few peaks in there around 4,000 as well. It kind of breaks that up a bit. Now, it does mean that some of the higher peak areas are going to have some very strong wind, strong upslope flow. Channel into the valley pocket is going to be very strong. So LJ will be catching some of that. But some of those gusts over the past few minutes were kind of strong near Crandall. And you can see right where that wind shift is. It's right there. Okay. So you got some gust here. Let's take a look at this. Close to 50. Okay. Western Gilmer. Come on. The query will pop up there. 30. Do one more. 40. So we're in that 30 to 50 mile an hour range. So it's not sustained. It's sporadic bursts and sporadic gusts. And usually it's right on the leading edge. So still quite strong there. That's in Fannin, Gilmer, and now moving out of Murray County. And I believe, well, no, it hasn't cleared Murray yet. It's right along the county line. But it has cleared Chatsworth. It has cleared Crandall. You're good. It's cleared Dalton. You're good. Varnell, you're good. Calhoun, you're almost on the backside. Things are improving. It's still raining heavily, but not accompanied by the strong gusts. Let's take a look at those gusts. Yeah, those aren't quite there. It's still blowing around 30 to 40. Not as strong, but everybody else again, look at the rain. It's raining in Lafayette. It's raining in Tryon. It's raining Fort Oglethorpe, South Pitt, Palmer, Tracy City, Dunlap. It's all raining. All these areas is raining. You can go on to sleep if you want to. It's not severe. It's going to be breezy, rainy the rest of the night, and eventually stronger gusts coming in. Let's see, there are strong reports here. Yeah. Got a wind gust report from the airport. Let's check this out. Yeah. Peak gust just before 11 o'clock. 53. at level field. 46 knots, 2 gusts measured around 53 miles an hour between 10:40 and 10:47 p.m. That's why a lot of people are that power. Not surprising though. So the velocity scan we show is very consistent with the velocity scans tonight. In that 50 mile an hour range. They had those advisories out. Good. Good proactively had those advisories out. Very good. But there you go. That's at the airport. Peak gust of 53. Here's another one. That's at the McGee-Tyson Airport, 62. That was just a few moments ago, about 18 minutes ago at the airport. 62 mile an hour wind gust there. 53 at level field, 62 at Tyson McGee. And there you have it, LJ. You've got those winds coming your way. Got some strong gust here. Still upwards around 50. So again, it's both, and there's 58. So again, it's teetering right there on severe threshold, but for the most part, seeing just below that. But still keep in mind, Blue Ridge, LJ, you got some gusts coming your way, incoming. And in Murphy, for the most part, you got a lot of rain, but that line kind of broke up a little bit. So it's pretty windy, but you're out of an advisory. So that's good for Cherokee County. I like that. Ignore those colors. I know it looks different. It does look like a mess, but it's just you're on the outer radius of the Morristown radar. So ignore that color. I don't want you want to go, whoa, what was that? That's not what you think. And there's that kind of just fall into this line right from Copper Hill to our Ranger and LJ. It's going to move fast. It's going to move fast. I'm seeing our viewer numbers kind of go down. People are going to sleep. I don't blame you. You know, I don't blame you at all. If you're not in this area in red, or that part of Gilmer, Fannin, and eastern Gordon, and on into Cherokee County, I'd go to sleep too. You know. We got Friday coming up. How many of you saw shopping to do? I got a little bit. I didn't procrastinate like many other years. I'm pretty good. Pretty good this year. All right, again, this is really the most active weather we've got until well after Christmas. It's not gonna snow this Christmas. The last good one we had was 2010. I remember that one vividly. I know a lot of you do too, and every now and then it happens. But not this year. This year it'll be a warm one. I mean, it's basically so we had such a cold early start to December. You know, you're always going to have that give and take up and down with the temperatures. So now we're on the upward swing. Thanks, Evan. I appreciate it, man. So thanks for warming up. But you got to keep in mind, Christmas is only the 4th day of winter. There's a lot of winter yet to go. So January, February is usually when we average better snow chances. We'll just have to see if that transpires. But I will say this. I was going to do an update about this on social media. I'm always reminded of myself. Christmas in 1973. You know what he did on Christmas in 73 in Chickamauga and Chattanooga? That. It rained. It rained heavily on Christmas Day, the day after Christmas. We had over 3 inches of rain. Christmas in 1973. That was the year that I got the gift that I wanted more than anything, a bike. And it rained. And all I could do, my parents were so nice, they backed their car out of the garage and rode in circles in the garage. I was happy as could be, but I really wanted to ride down the road, ride down the driveway. But it was pouring rain. So, with that said, I know it's not going to snow this Christmas, but there's so many kids that are going to have temperatures 65 to 70. They might get that outdoor toy that they can enjoy. That makes me happy. As happy as it would be if kids were enjoying the snow. So I got to keep that in mind. So not a sob story for me, but I always remember that one Christmas with the bike riding in a circle. But I was happy as could be. But not this Christmas. No rain. It looks pretty good and warm. All right, LJ, that line right over you now and approaching Blue Ridge. Again, it's pretty narrowing quite a bit. And a lot of that has to do with, as I mentioned, terrain features there. Copper Hill, some strong gusts in. There's a new advisory there. There we go. Cherokee and Clay. Again, this is the same reason with that going back to 12:45. We're not going to continue our live stream this long, but just want to let you guys know that. Okay. As it moves east. Same thing. Wind gusts upwards of up to 50 as this rolls on by. So just be aware of that between now and 12:45. But really, in Murphy, you're kind of getting the leading edge of that now as he speaks. It's not sneaking up on you. Let's see some comments here. Yes, we did have a little bit of dusting on Christmas 2020. We sure did. I just remember 2010, that real big one that we had. But yes, we did. Christmas 2020, there was a dusting on here. It sure was. And there was a little bit 21, the day after Christmas. 21 or 22? 22, the day after Christmas in 22. Yeah, riding a bike in the spring could be fun. Not for a kid 6 years old with silver training wheels. It would have been a disaster. All right, Chrissy says the weather app says it's going to rain tomorrow. No. Tomorrow's good. Tomorrow's sunny. Now, granted, in 10 minutes it'll be tomorrow and it'll still be raining, so that's technically not wrong. But during the day tomorrow it's going to rain. No, it's not going to rain. It's going to be sunny. It's going to rain to start the day at midnight, but no. Most of the day's going to be nice and dry. Bobby, that storm's already moved away from Dalton. You still have rain at Dalton, but you're good for the night. No more severe weather. Just getting colder overnight. All right, let's go down. Matt wants to know about the wind gust around Fairmont. That little line has not been quite as strong as the others have been. Let's take a gander at it, shall we? So basically, some gusts 30 to 40 there in Fairmont. It'll last about another 10-15 minutes by midnight moving east. And there it is. It basically sits from Fairmont, Ranger, LJ, just west of Blue Ridge, into Copper Hill. And again, these are the only advisories left over. Cherokee and Clay, this means it'll exit out of Clay by 12:45. So in Murphy, it's not going to last till 12:45. It just means that will exit and clear Clay County at 12:45. Northern Fan until 12:15. It'll clear out of there in the next 20 minutes. Gilmer County, this part of Gilmer, until 12:30. That's for Eastern Gilmer, Eastern Fannin, just outside our viewing area there. So for the most part, this is all we've got left, which is right now over LJ, Blue Ridge, right now over Murphy. You'll get a few more gusts coming out of that other line right along 64 there. But everybody else, if you're watching, I appreciate you watching throughout the night, but everybody else, things are better. Things are much, much better. And again, just to recap here, and that strong wind gust of 53 at the airport just before 11 o'clock. All right, folks, here's what we got for the rest of the overnight hours. If you've been watching, you know this. So we got two fronts coming by. First one will come by shortly, okay? That's pushing the rain that we have now. Secondary fronts bringing in the colder air. So initially we've dropped down to about 10 degrees, by that, upper 40s around 50. I'll show you the temperatures coming up. And that behind it is a colder air. So by morning we'll be in the 20s and 30s, highs only in the 40s. So much different take on the day than what it was like today. But the severe threat is way out in front there, and it's about to exit out of the viewing area. So things will be rapidly improving. So here's our future track through the overnight. About 1 a.m., all that's kind of moving away to the east. Temperatures in the 40s, and then initially, first thing in the morning, you got temperatures in the 30s, some 20s around the plateau. I'd watch for a slick spot or two in those areas, but for the most part, the wind will do a lot to dry things out. We got a flurry or two, not impossible, far to the north. Later in the day, Friday, highs only reaching the 40s. That's it. A sunny day, but breezy. Beautiful, though, but kind of chilly. And the temperatures by early Saturday morning all the way down to the 20s. And late day Saturday, we do warm up rather quickly. Temperatures by late day all the way to the upper 50s. So we're going to be trending near 60 both days of the weekend, even after that cold start Saturday morning. So once the south wind comes back, we got really warm weather all the way for the next 7 days. So again, this is for later Friday, which is going to be today in about 5 minutes. Much colder by morning, 30s early, 40s by late day. And 7-day forecast again, looking pretty warm. So our cold trend ends after Saturday morning. So Saturday morning in the 20s, and really that's it. Upper 50s, near 60 over the weekend. Slight rain chances here, slight chance again Tuesday. So it's not totally sunny through this time. So every now and then a little bit of moisture, so kind of warm and kind of damp. So upper 50s for highs Monday, Tuesday, and here's Christmas Eve day, mid 60s, and near 70 as we approach Thursday, Christmas Day, near 70, 65 to 70, so awfully warm. Let me show you the temperatures now as we approach midnight. A couple of things to note. Our wind gusts are down, and temperatures are going down also. There you have it. And I'll show you what the south wind is. It's still warm. Where the northwesterly wind is kicked in, it's cooling off. Okay. So you got 40s here. Still holding on to 60s in spots. We've got to be changing as the front rolls on by. Wind gust have been coming down. So you notice where the northwesterly wind comes in here. Okay. Not nearly as strong. The stronger winds are where the south wind is, and then right along that front. So it is going to be breezy overnight, but not nearly as strong as it once was. Okay. And there you have it. We've got that line of storms now just about over Blue Ridge. So right along Highway 76 between Blue Ridge and LJ, gusty wind, heavy rain pressing on through. It's almost out of Gordon County. Still kind of windy in Fairmont, but just about to move out of Gordon County. It's moved out of Floyd, moved out of Chattooga, it's moved out of Murray. By 12:15, it'll move out of Gilmer. And again, here we are in the Cherokee County. We got the rain, got the wind. So in Murphy, between now and 12:30, expect the strong gust and rain, but that's about it. I think it stays below severe levels, but you got that advisory out to 12:45, and really that's about it, folks. Everybody else, things are improving. There's one warning way up northeast of Knoxville. That's outside our viewing area, but in case you're watching in that area, I'll bring it up. That's for Cook, Granger, Sevier, and Jefferson County until 12:15. That's outside the viewing area. So everybody else, basically improving. So as we approach midnight, we're going to call it a night here, folks. As the severe threat is winding on down, I appreciate all of you for watching. Thanks for your comments throughout the night, helping us keep everyone else advised about getting the power outages around and tracking the wind gusts. I've got one person saying here it's over Blue Ridge with the strong gusts now. And at Blue Ridge, it'll improve about the next 10, 20 minutes, and it'll pass on by. But same thing right over LJ. It'll start moving now east of Highway 76 very shortly in those areas. But again, windy, rainy for the most part. Those gusts will trend about 40, 50, and then die on down rather quickly. All right. All right, folks, thanks so much for watching. We'll be watching this. Should there be any other advisories, we'll let you know. But have a safe night. And bundle up for tomorrow. It's a cool day coming up. And we'll have more updates coming up. Of course, coming up later in the morning on Friday for Good Morning Chattanooga. And I'll be here for the nighttime hours as well. We'll be on late 11 o'clock. Our late 11 o'clock newscast Friday night because it's the first round of the college football playoffs in Alabama and Oklahoma. That's going to be a great day. All right, folks, have a great night. Stay safe. Bundle up tomorrow morning. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great night.